Hello, everybody. I am your androgynous android late night DJ Caster.
And I am your amazing agender avian co-host, Ravi the Owl.
And this is the New and Caster Twitch channel. Hello, everybody. It's been really neat to see everybody kind of join us for our detective adventure of this game. Hi, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
What's good? I'm excited to go and wrap up the game today because there was the potential of us trying to kind of push through and finish it last stream, but I know how mystery games can be when it's hours before the game ends for real.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's go and give it where we've got fresh eyes and fresh voices, and go and give it a whirl. How have you been, Rafi? What have you been up to?
I have been doing all right. I actually just announced, literally a small handful of minutes ago, that on the Merrymancer Games Discord server, later this month, I'm going to be hosting a discussion panel on making media, specifically tabletop RPGs, based off of other forms of media, and ways to navigate that sense of like, man, I want to make a thing like that thing without making something derivative and ending up like the Neopets RPG. So,
yes, I haven't talked with you about that. Funny, we'll get into it.
Oh my God, it's so good. But yes, if you are interested in hearing this panel, so it will be recorded, but you can be there live to hear it on Wednesday, February the 25th at 3 p.m. Eastern, and on the Merrymancer Games server. Would it be kosher for me to drop?
Oh yeah. I was expecting you to, or to give the link to me.
Lovely, yes. Let me just acquire that in here. I said here we go.
Here we go.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Bazinga. So, the Neopets RPG. Oh man.
Yes.
So I have tortured my boyfriend with talking about the Neopets RPG. He could not give less of a shit, and I went from being like mind boggled by it to being kind of like, they raised how much money? How much money did they get paid to write this? And then finding out, oh, actually, these writers have not been getting paid. They're getting fucked. I'm like, I'm not envious anymore. I feel kind of bad for them.
Messy.
And now it's just funny again.
Yes. It's like, so this happens all the time when we've reached this era where people who have access to specific IP will be like, oh, a way that we can keep our IP in people's eyes and relevancy is to turn it into a tabletop RPG because that's been so successful with a handful of very specific existing properties. You know, like the stuff that Free League Publishing tends to do the best of it. So their Blade Runner RPG, their Alien RPG tend to do quite consistently quite well and are quite well liked. So there's loads of other games where it's other IPs be like, we can turn this into one. I remember there was like a Hellboy RPG that used 5e. There was going to be I think there is currently, it's released, an Adventure Time RPG that was using its own system, and then a while into development they were like, no, never mind, this is actually going to be a 5e thing because we want people to buy it.
There's also a Dark Souls 5e RPG. I think there may be another one that's not 5e.
Yes, I was going to get to that because there's a personal relevancy with that by degrees.
My.
So the English, there are two Dark Souls RPGs, one made in Japan, one made in English. The English one was actually made in the UK by Steamforged Games. They are a Manchester-based tabletop gaming company. They mostly did like war game miniatures in the past, and then when that stopped being lucrative for them, they then became, I would say, an IP mill. They got the rights to a bunch of Capcom video games and made board games of middling quality of all of them. So you can get a Resident Evil RPG or a Monster Hunter RPG. A Resident Evil board game and the Monster Hunter board game. The Monster Hunter board game uses Wilds' or Worlds' kind of aesthetic rather than mainline, so it looks awful. Whatever. But their Dark Souls RPG is so poorly tested and proofed that one of the starting classes you could be did not give you the correct stats to actually wear the equipment you would get.
Oh. Well, that's just a reflection of the aspirational nature of Dark Souls and the constant
embarrassing.
Oh man,
truly embarrassing. There are people that I know who work for them currently and people who've worked for them in the past, and all the things I've heard of people say about them has just been largely complicated, so I just won't go into the finer details of it. But the fact that I'm saying complicated and not just kind of like they're great should probably tell you all you need to know without me having to dish any dirt or put any people in the lurch. Sam says, to be fair, that is kind of in line with the inscrutable nature of the first game. I mean, I guess there are options in Dark Souls 1 where if you pick it on character creation, they're just wrong and you should start over. But I don't know. I don't know if that is a great feel-good experience.
And that's what we want out of a tabletop experience. Yes, replicate every decision.
Yeah, so the fact that the Neopets RPG, which even when they announced it, I want to say 2 years ago, they did like a semi-AMA on Reddit, and I remember specifically asking at the time, being like, okay, what does this do mechanically that says Neopets? Because that's all I ask about any tabletop RPG that passes my purview, is like, what is it about the theming that is reflected in the mechanics that makes the rules of this game matter? And they couldn't answer me, and I was like, okay then.
So wait, did they write a response that they just didn't, they're like, we don't know, or did they just ignore the question?
I did get an answer, but it wasn't one that I think really answered my question in a satisfactory way. So I was like, sure, okay. Maybe in my lunch, maybe in the halfway break, I will go and see if I can find the post to see specifically what they said, because I do remember asking about it.
Now, this does make sense that they wouldn't have a good way to answer that, because the game was not written when they kickstarted it, and they freely admitted that this Kickstarter would let them write it, which is for viewers at home, if you are ever doing a Kickstarter, especially a Kickstarter for a tabletop role-playing game, the writing should be like 80% done at least. Ideally, finish the writing. Maybe let the Kickstarter pay for an editor, and then all the layout and all of that. Real quick, for those who don't know, the long and short of the Neopets RPG saga, before we get into Detective Instinct Farewell, My Beloved, these two things are intimately related, as keen-eyed viewers will surely note.
It's important news to discuss. I see no issues.
You really giving Ace Attorney Judge with the way you phrased that. But yeah, essentially, so like a few weeks ago, the creators of the Neopets RPG put out a Google Doc that was a public Google Doc that was their current beta. This notable for the fact that they put that out like a year after they said books would be delivered, I think, but I could be wrong. I also don't want to slander them too hard for being behind schedule, because that is quite the nature of crowdfunding. If I was going to come after them for being late on something crowdfunded, I would be setting myself up for a mighty hoisted petard. But
sure.
The important thing is that this Google Doc had comments and suggestions on, and the rules are functionally like they admitted that no one who worked on this was a tabletop RPG designer, and you can kind of tell because it is like D&D mashed up and spat out, and we also statted out a Jub Jub. There are, like the fact that comments and suggestions were on turned this from being just like a subject of public ridicule to being like indie RPG writers from all across the sphere coming in to highlight something and go and give earnest feedback of like, why is lethal damage assumed to be the default? Why I don't imagine my Jub Jub as a killer.
There was
or
one
hey,
from Will Jobst specifically who was like, oh, the fact that you've put dynamite in the game encourages me to paint the walls. And when I say paint the walls, I mean with a Scorchio or something like that, which, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to see people's screenshots and just reading through it. It was a real like I'm taking the badness potion. But while the document is no longer public, there are so many good screenshots of things people posted. I'm going to share one that is not actually of the document, but is of a form that was filled out. If I can find it, this feedback form. Yes, here we go. Okay.
Was it like asking about traits in the game and being like,
this
well,
is the one asking about perks. Yes, which where it's like, are there any perks that feel overpowered or undercosted, either in SP or LP? The perks aren't in this playtest packet at all. But there was an accusation of late pay in their place, right? Are there any perks that feel underpowered? I'll let you know when you let us see perks. If you could add a perk, what would it be? I'd settle for 1. Are there any perks that feel like they don't belong in a Neopets game? Option 1, like it just gives a list of options, just option 1 there. Every time I see option 1, it fucking cracks me up. It's so... Oh my god.
Also, during this period of time, I found it. Sorry, thank you for waiting while I was digging through fucking Reddit post history.
Oh, yes!
So, my post there's basically, it's the company Geekify being like, official Neopets TTRPG just launched 2 years ago. And I said, yes, I've seen an earlier announcement for this, best of luck for the funding process. Considering the self-comparison to D&D, although this is a baseline question I ask of any TTRPG in crowdfunding, what does this game do mechanically that stands out from other games in its genre? Because while it's totally serviceable to have a well-known dice system with the licensed name drops of loops and Scorchios, it's what about the experience of the game systems that quote unquote feel like Neopets that I want to know before anything else. And their response was, thanks so much, we pulled from a bunch of different systems to hybridize a lot of the mechanics and to really try to capture the feel of how Neopets plays on the site, hoarding items, mini games and random events, daily quests roaming around the world. One of the key things we're playing with is the transmutability of Neopets. Apparently Neopians have zero problem with changing form, color, or gender, so consequently we've made it a classless system that you can respect and morph constantly, both physically and intellectually within. Though some of the plot points are actually better served by transmogrifications, whatever. We've also developed a pacifism system for handling things non-violently and built out skill trees for handling your conflict resolutions so you don't have to do combat approaches. So... this mention of we've developed a pacifism system, one of the big feedbacks or kind of like big sparks of like, why is this like so combat focused? Apparently like one of their Kickstarter like response mea culpas is, we're working on the pacifism system, that's our next update. So you had 2 years. You had 2 years to develop this pacifism system, and it didn't manifest.
No one has made a pacifism system in a game before, especially an elf game before. So there's like they are needing to research pacifism just philosophically from the ground up for this. Sam, you joke that they also pulled from Pathfinder, but deadass, I swear I saw
like some of the spell list being lifted or something like that.
I can't remember exactly where I saw this, but I believe I can't. The thing that gets me is I can't remember whether this was someone who's working on the project saying like we had read these games to prepare ourselves, or whether this was someone saying like this is clearly pulling from, and it was just like we've read Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder, and it's like I feel like there might have been one or two more that were still extremely in the like trad D&D space that is head in hands. This has of course made me want to go like, fuck you, what if I made a Neopets RPG? I didn't play Neopets growing up, so I'm not the number one with a bullet to make this, but there are so many interesting ideas that trying to make it, what if you had your Dungeons and Dragons, but you were a little guy who could change color is so...
I mean, I was gonna say there's a form of Moonshard Explorers that could be very easily adapted to Neopets. Neopets as a concept, though, like even within its world, hyper-capitalist. A lot of it is specifically about buying and selling shit. So it would have to be like the spin-off system when you release the Moonshard Explorers SRD. You could do the side game where what if Moonshard Explorers, but you could start a shop that could sell omelets.
Yeah, I mean, genuinely, I think if I was making a Neopets RPG, it would be an asynchronous text-based game where you have like shared Google Docs that are representing spaces that you are developing through play. So you can get that kind of like, I'm gonna hop on, poke around for a bit, and then hop off. But instead of it being, I'm, farming Neobucks or whatever the hell, it's like, oh, I'm adding a detail to this area and seeing what my friends wrote.
The idea of an RPG where you do your dailies is actually very funny to me. So it sounds like the equivalent of the writers of Ruby being given anime homework and then just making the most derivative thing possible. Oh God, I'll constantly talk about this because we've talked about it on air a handful of times, and I'm probably going to bring it up again in this talk. Go to the Merry Mensa Games Discord that I've pinned in doobly-doo, where a design of something, whether it's like a TV show or a video game or a tabletop RPG, and the difference between it being inspired by the themes and tone of work versus directly referencing existing work, and how those two things feel and are executed very differently. And you can do the former quite badly, right? You can have something that mimics the tone on the most surface level way possible and is just kind of like, oh, I've seen an anime and this is a trope that's in an anime, so it needs to be in this work too. No, it doesn't. Versus kind of like, oh, I can see the direct inspirations of what things are. And yeah, it'll just continue to be funny to me, this endless cycle of crowdfunding tabletop RPGs based on IPs almost randomly, and invariably they will take references from a system that really shouldn't. And it's always the wrong one. There's been recently a Ghost in the Shell tabletop RPG crowdfunder, which, to its credit, is using Blades in the Dark's rules, which is largely about making difficult choices a lot of the time for that system, so it tracks a bit better, but it's still just kind of like, oh, you just had the rights to this thing. Rather than I've made an astounding game and I've approached people being kind of like, I would love to be able to turn this into something. It's always the other way around, interestingly. Anyway, we can't. This can't be.
We can't.
TTRPG is my beloved.
I think probably worth saying that part of the reason we are maybe so lax with new game, fuck it. Part of the reason we're maybe so lax with talking about fucking Neopets and other such derivative products at the top is because I think we are pretty near the end of the game, and as as Castor said earlier, we probably could have pushed to finish it last time, but y'all know mystery games love being like, okay, so you think you're at the end. Now, dun dun dun, big spin, 3 more hours. And so
We're hedging our
we wanted
bets.
to leave space. We're hedging our bets. We want to leave space for the game. We want to leave space for us. And maybe if this wraps early, we will have some time to go poke around at a little extra little dessert. But let's get into it. Let's
Absolutely.
see how... I keep on forgetting the name of this goddamn game. I was like, detective fiction. That's not what this is.
But yes, we're face to face with Emma. I can't. Well, actually, we might have a previous log. Okay, cool.
Right. We were about to go
And try and directly
meet with
find
our missing
Olma.
woman. As I think something worth mentioning is the fact that Detective Beltry was here and trying to figure. He was trying to figure out what we knew, but he was seeming more sympathetic than our professor maybe alluded to. I think it was the professor who had said, like, hey, he has an ulterior motive even.
Yes, because we saw another person who was from Ganbrika as an immigrant who was trying to get into London by train to escape. And Daltrey was like, well, the moment we arrive in London, I'm going to arrest you, and then we're going to go back to Ganbrika together. Do you think you're going to get away from me? He's since relented on that and has decided
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Never trust a cop's word. You need it in writing. But he said, like, oh, no, it's fine. We're going to part ways and I will have never seen you. But we don't know. We don't know what kind of cop this man is.
Yeah, that's the thing that's really interesting to me about how this game presents Daltrey, because the fact that we've been told he has an ulterior motive and is, that's one thing, but the fact that he is seeming sympathetic and like, oh, well, I don't want to be the bad guy here and prevent this old man from seeing his granddaughter, so I'm saying forget it. And it's like, okay, either this game is presenting a surprisingly like gentle and human picture of the one cop in the story, or it's going to give like a pretty brutal condemnation of where the alliances of police lie.
Considering, again, this game came out near the end of last year, near the start of this year, and we had an entire sequence last time where Professor Martin was kind of talking about how Vendrake is like political system has been actively hostile to the nature of Gambrican immigrants, even though on paper they're allowed to move between. Their lives have been so much worse, and the people that have been kind of rounding up Gambricans to send them back has been something that has been quite palpable and upsetting to Martin. To which we were like, oh, yeah, fuck ICE, but how does it square that up when we are dealing with a police officer who ostensibly it could be their job to be doing this? Granted, he's here for other reasons. He's here to try and solve a murder. He's not here to try and deport anybody, so it's not really his business. But who knows where his principles lie, or whether he'll be reprimanded for not taking people away when he had the opportunity to.
Am I right in remembering that the origins of police are as slave catchers?
Sheriffs in particular, I believe. Oh yes, and we have the higher tense version of the exploration themes. I did actually buy the soundtrack last week, by the way, just so I could listen to the bartender theme over and over. But I do also like the I would say like the Allegro version of the talking to people tense theme, because there's a handful of the themes kind of get remixed for later in the storyline where they're more dramatic. The string instruments you hear, by the way, are all live. They are not words. They are
synthetic.
Not synthetic. There
Synthesized.
We go. Synthesized. There we go. We got it. Which I found very, very impressive. In contrast to the Golfing Blowjob Brothers, whose theme is specifically in MIDI to make it sound like a golfing video game, which is so fucking clever.
It's quite impressive that the instruments are actually live.
Because it felt like it, but I'm like, that's quite expensive if you don't know people who are in the space to be able to do that. But hey, I think the composer himself is at minimum a guitarist, and I think a violin player, so he like rounded up the mates, I guess. I have a feeling there's a false bottom in the cage. It feels like the
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, look at it.
yeah, it feels like the magician's box would be quite difficult to hide in.
Yeah. Well, she's not in the cage. We can see that pretty clearly. Idiot.
Yeah, but this cage is pretty big. Are we sure it isn't hiding anything?
I don't know, but maybe we should inspect it more thoroughly.
The way my boss... Oh my god.
Rafter, why don't we split up? I'll take a look at this cage and you see... I'll take a look at this cage and you see if you can find anything elsewhere.
Sure, that works for me.
Just let me know if you find something, okay?
All right. I mean, I think that is the answer, but make me... Is she in the suit of armor? Oh, I know she's not in the suit of armor, but I didn't get the chance to check this thing yesterday. All right, let's take a look. Oh, it's up close. Oh, there's a key.
Oh.
Huh? What's this hanging from the sword hilt? It's a key ring. There's just one really tiny key on it, though. I should discuss with Emma what I found. Hey, Emma, I found something.
You did? What is it?
There was a key ring hanging from the sword hilt on the suit of armor. It's got one tiny little key on it.
Small key, huh? Wonder what it goes to.
Did you find out anything interesting about the cage?
Well, the door to the cage is locked, but not with a key. The door has a 4-digit combination lock, so unless we can figure out the numbers, we're never going to get inside. Yeah.
This hasn't come up yet.
Aha! True!
This hasn't come up yet, which is so...
8532?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Maybe.
We just put our heads together.
Bonk. I do remember that there was also a discussion of ace king queen jack around something as well, but I can't remember. There was like a discussion between Vader and Monty that we overheard where that was a combination or an order to something.
So maybe it's 2358?
Possibly.
2 plus 3 plus 5. Okay, no, never mind.
What's the digital root of these numbers? Fucking hell. I got really good at that by the end of that game. It's all 23. But we'll bear in mind 8532. That might be a thing that could come up. I'm like, where have you seen any other numbers? Why would Vader and Monty want to lock the door to an empty cage? You know why. You know why.
Wait, are you saying you know the code to unlock the door to the cage?
I mean, could give it a shot.
Okay. Can't hurt to try. Just tell me the number and I'll try it out. What do you think, Rafter? What's the code? Okay, I'll try it. Music change.
Hang on, did I get that right? 8532.
Yeah.
Hey, cruising. No.
No, that wasn't it, Rafter. Hey, cruising.
Maybe I should ask Emma if she has any ideas. Oh. Actually, let me check the other side real quick.
This definitely belongs to Monty, but there's nowhere to hide a person in it. I'm not sure I'd want to hide around a prop like this anyway. Okay, but the key...
Well, this box is definitely big enough to hide a person.
Sure, but unless there's a secret compartment, they surely would have found her during load-in. No, it doesn't look like there's a secret compartment here. It's definitely deeper than it looks from the outside, though. Maybe the guitar case? Come on, Rafter. She couldn't possibly fit in there. I was thinking for the key.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you seen some of the places that magicians' assistants fit into? They're surprisingly limber. So now you've heard of magicians and magician assistants now, huh? Uh-huh.
Whether that's true or not, Alma isn't a magician's assistant. Wherever she's hiding is probably big enough for a normal person to fit without too much extra effort. Okay, maybe instead of clicking around with that, we can we like discuss for the key? Just thought of something. Do you remember what we overheard Veda telling Monty about earlier?
Yeah.
Ace, king, queen, jack in that order. Okay, so it's probably the numbers we put in but backwards. What do you think she was talking about? So 2, 3, 5, 8.
Because, hold on. Spades, diamonds, hearts, and clubs. So those are all different as well. Ace, queen.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
So it's with the suit. Okay.
Because
So-
I'm like, you wouldn't be able to fit in 11, 12, and 13, right? So it feels
that's
to me that it would be
3, 5.
3, 5. Hold on,
8,
yeah.
2. 3, 5, 8, 2.
No, sorry, it's king first, right? So it's ace, king, queen, jack. So
Oh, was it king first?
Hold on.
Okay.
ace, king, queen, jack. Yeah.
So then that would be hearts 3.
Then spades 8.
Okay, 3, 2, 5. Oh my god. This is embarrassing.
The way that it's ordered is really awkward. But if it's ace
Yes.
first, then that's 3. Then it's king for spades, which is 8. Then queen for diamonds, which is 5. So 3, 8, 5, 2.
Yes, 3, 8, 5, 2.
Okay. Sorry, I'm skipping through this because I'm like,
No,
I want
that's
to end
fine.
it again.
Yeah.
So we got it. We got the idea pretty
Second try.
quickly, but yeah.
Yeah.
3, 8, 5, 2. Slide. What was it?
Check. I think it's check combination. You want to try another code? Okay, what do you think it is? Okay, I'll try it.
Man,
I can't believe it.
it
You
would've
got
been-
right. How did you know?
it would have been so hot if we got that like immediately without even having to like have the
Yeah.
conversation. Oh, I would be rubbing my thighs. But hey.
Restart the game.
I
Run soiled.
hold on.
Oh, you want to see if there's extra dialogue?
Yeah.
I feel like I mean, given that she's reacting with "I can't believe you got it right. How did you know?" I feel like it's probably not going to be better than this.
Sure. It was nothing special. Just a simple bit of deduction. Comes quite naturally to me, if I'm being honest.
Ugh, forget it. I'm sorry I asked. But good job. Now the cage.
Go to cage. Well, now I'm in here. I'm just gonna sit down. All right, let's look around.
I don't see anything unusual about the floor.
Yeah, me neither.
Huh.
Can you see anything in the ceiling?
No, I don't think so. There's definitely more room up there than it looks like on the outside, though.
Huh. Emma, haha, you look funny in that cage. You should bark as a joke.
Wonder if that's true of the floor, too.
I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I guess it feels like maybe there's some place we need to insert a key. This door locks with a combination, but we took care of that already. So don't worry, Rafter. We can't get locked in.
That's a relief, but it still feels weird standing in the cage. Let's check the floor again.
Yeah.
It seems like a normal floor to me.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just looking at the go-to cage interior, and I guess it's a little strange that you can go to the place you already are.
I'm sure. I guess, yeah. The gaps between these bars seem just too narrow to squeeze through. At least I can. Maybe you could?
No, I don't think so. But it's close. It's no use, Rafter. She's too well hidden.
Flings me into a wall. Ugh, how can that be? It feels like we've been pretty thorough. I guess she needed to be well hidden enough for the train security not to find her during inspection. Maybe we never really stood a chance.
Oh, Alma. Where?
Man, that is loud.
Oh, shoot. That scared me so much I dropped the ring. Rafter, do you see it on the floor anywhere? And we're gonna find a place to put the key. All right.
Yeah. Oh, well, let me take a look. Look. No, that's the ring, I guess, but, I guess if I was playing this at 1 size, this would be a little more tricky, but, immediately next to it. Are you kidding me? Wait. What's this on the floor? Next to the ring? I think it's a tiny hole. Looks like it might be connected to a latch of some kind. I've never seen a keyhole before in my life before.
I don't think.
I have to try it. Think.
No, she said you don't think.
It unlocked. Emma, help me pull at this. Oh. Just chillin'.
Alma.
It's her. It's really her.
Alma! Alma, can you hear me? Alma, it's me, Emma. Please, Alma, wake up.
This is the first time we've seen her face, actually.
True.
Emma? Alma. Oh, sorry.
Oh, Alma. Girls' moment. I found you. I finally found you.
Emma.
Alma, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I took so long.
Well, in a way, her place hiding out would be more secure if we didn't interfere.
Yeah, I don't know if it's good that we excavated her, but
At least we know that she's alive and real.
yeah.
I don't know what to say. I can't believe she's actually standing right in front of me. I don't know what to think. It's almost like she doesn't... I'm so sorry. I don't know what to think.
It's okay.
It's almost like she still doesn't seem real somehow. I can read. I can truly read.
You're just stunned.
Yeah, she doesn't want to.
It's nice to see you again, Alma.
It's nice to see you too, Emma. I'm so sorry I missed our lunch. did you find me? We've been looking for you for almost 3 days, ever since Emma told me you went missing. I'm Rafter, by the way, Emma's friend. It's nice to meet you, Rafter. Emma told me a lot about you. She did?
Rafter and I searched everywhere for you. Talked to everyone we could. I just wanted to make sure you were okay.
You went through all of that. For me. I'm sorry to have put you through so much trouble.
It's okay, Alma. We're just happy to see that you're okay.
So you know who I am. Well, that's sort of why we had to find you. We've learned a lot about what's going on, but we don't know who to trust or what to believe. We thought the only way we'd know for sure is to be able to hear it from you. I can't tell you.
You can trust us, Alma.
It isn't that I don't trust you. It's that... If I tell you anything, he might...
It was going to be so fucking funny if she had said, like, I don't remember anything.
He?
I understand, Alma. If you don't want to tell us, it's okay. But nobody knows we're here. We shouldn't be in any danger.
How the fuck did she get out of the cage? If the key is external, I guess it auto-locks behind her. So, assuming there's a way for her to open the hatch from the inside, these bars are long enough for you to be able, wide enough for you to be able to stick your hand through and enter in the keypad to open the thing. So, she was able to let herself out, see Emma, and be like, oh, woe's me. I just needed to see the sunlight one last time before I go and put myself in a box for 3 days. Which, fucking brutal, by the way. There was no food in there.
No food. I don't know how she breathes.
And then, I guess...
The keyhole?
To get back into the hatch, either she would have had to leave it unlocked, which is risky, because then somebody would see that there's a hatch in there. Or she, like, takes the key with her, and she just kind of knows that she needs to leave the key on the sword in case Vader and Monty want to retrieve her. I'm wondering how she let herself out, how she got back in. I have a feeling they'll explain, but that bit is still strange to me.
Yeah, her being able to get into the hatch and have the hatch lock and also have the key be that far away is hard to digest unless she has a copy.
Yeah, we're not going to get
if she has a spare key,
true. She has a spare that makes sense, but we're not going to get like a Leon Quarter like mad throw to just
cruising. So if I'm understanding correctly, I believe the plan is essentially she's being smuggled in this compartment so that when the train arrives, then she will be, loosed upon London. So
we found out last session that even though Gambricans are emigrating from their home country to other places, they're not actually especially well looked after in Vendrake, and if you are committed or even adjacently connected to any crime, they will just deport you. So Gambricans are trying to leave in a way that is passing under people's notice. Unfortunately, passing under people's notice is also a crime, so it's a bit of a sticky situation for all of them in general.
Just want to know the truth.
What do you know about me? Your name is Alma Keller. Your husband was Otto Keller, a man who was murdered at a hotel 3 days ago. We were told that you were fleeing Vendrake to avoid deportation to your home yes, no, that sentence makes sense. We were told that you were fleeing Vendrake to avoid deportation to your home country, Gambrica. We know that your husband Otto worked as a housekeeper for a lawyer named Maxwell, who was killed in his home the same night Otto was murdered at a hotel. And we know that Maxwell was using another Gambrican immigrant to spy on a Vendraken senator named Gordon. The fact that both of you decided to escape on the same train without speaking to each other is actually a really miserable coincidence, but so it goes. I guess these trains don't necessarily leave Vendrake frequently.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
There's a detective on board who's looking for you. He's currently investing Otto and Maxwell's murder. We're not sure how all these things are connected, but that's about everything we know. Oh? Okay. A few weeks ago, a man came to my husband with an offer. If accepted, he would set Otto and I up with a new life in London. A considerable amount of money. But if he refused, he assured Otto that we would be deported without cause. It was blackmail. He wanted Otto to kill someone. He wanted him to kill that lawyer, Maxwell. That man. That horrible man.
Alma, who was he?
He never told us his name, but he was...
Wait, what's going on? Are we slowing down?
We shouldn't be arriving in London for at least another 2 hours. Something's wrong.
Alma, what's wrong?
The lights. It is indeed the rail tracer. What was that?
Raptor, Alma, are you okay? So, what do we think are the chances that the person who set this up and, did this blackmail was the detective?
Oh, 40% and rising.
Cop Psycho 100.
Because it's going to be somebody who else is, because he muscled his way onto the train, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, who else? The bartender doesn't care. The bartender is just like a big gossip. The Golf Blowdrop brothers doesn't seem likely.
That would be crazy.
That would be, there's no grounds for it. There is a 30% and hovering that it's the professor, Martin.
Oh, the professor. Yeah. Oh, shit, yeah.
Because he specifically came to Vendrake with other shit going on. His best friend, like Senator Gordon, is directly involved in these affairs, quite intricately so. So, if we really want to do the over-under in terms of like, it is Monty. In terms of the over-under here, it's either going to be Dultre or Martin, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Currently, I'm leaning towards the detective, but that is my bias of fuck cops than it being like evidential.
I mean, we were told he had an ulterior motive, and then did not see any evidence of this. So,
because if Martin's kind of like, don't trust the police officer, put all your suspicion on him, don't give him any info, and then I can walk around unfettered, is also feasible. But I think this game is fairly left-leaning, so fuck cop seems likely. But we play to find out. I'm fine, Emma.
Alma? Alma, can you hear me?
No response.
Rafter, we have to turn the lights back on.
Okay, I'm looking for the light switch.
Oh, God.
I have no idea where I am. I need to feel around for something, anything to get my bearings. Okay, I think that's the cage. If I can work my way to where we came in, maybe I can find the switch by the door. This is hopeless. I have no idea what I'm doing. How am I supposed to find... Wait, what? What's this? I think I found it. That's my nose. Alma's gone.
Oh no. Alma. Rafter, we have to find her. Quick, let's get out of here and check the other cars. She can't have gone far. Plus, there's only like 2 other cars on this train, so...
Door locked. Emma, I can't get this door open. It won't budge.
What? Oh no. Shut up, Sam.
Hey, can anybody hear me? We're trapped in here. Hey. Damn.
Do you think the man Alma was talking about, the one who blackmailed her husband to murder Maxwell, do you think it was Professor Martin?
Emma, I don't know.
It's all right.
Let's not jump to any conclusions just yet, okay? We need to get out of here. Because another thought, and this is 10% chance. It's the porter. The porter knows how the train operations work. Can make a request to stop the train. His job has actively been trying to look for people who are stowaways. And it's not just because of his job. It might be because he's specifically trying to find a certain person.
That's fair. I guess I just would have figured that if that was the case, he would have come in not like through the darkness.
Yeah. But as a person being like, what are you doing here? Yeah, true. Let's say 10% chance.
But I do like that. I do like that theory.
Because like Martin going, stop the train, and everybody's like, why? I could believe Daltrey being like, stop the train, I'm a cop.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. But yeah. Maybe at this period of time, especially since this is the late 80s, an emergency alarm stop thing is actually on the train. The train is electric, but we're moving again. How long has it been? Maybe about 20 minutes since we stopped? It's the porter. He got the door open. Huh? You two again? Oh, hello.
Rafter, we need to be careful. If even a little of what Martin told us is true, if anyone finds out about Alma, it could be disastrous for her. Let's just see if we can get any more information about what's going on.
That's not what I meant. I wanted to check Porter, but fine. Get a load of this. You want to know why we stopped? Some joker pulled the emergency brake. Sure, okay. Nobody saw who did it, and we have no idea why they did. People think they're so funny pulling a stunt like that, but it's more dangerous than they think. The emergency brakes produce so much force that they can easily damage the tracks and even the train itself. That's why they're for emergencies only. When I find the guy who did this, well, you better believe I'm gonna let him have it. Hey, has anything, unusual happened since the train stopped? Unusual? No, I wouldn't say so. Most of us train personnel were investigating the brake situation to make sure it was safe to start moving again. We didn't uncover anything unordinary. Some passengers are a bit irate about it all, but I'd say everything's back to normal now. Say, what are you two doing in here anyway? We were looking through some of our luggage when the train stopped. We tried to leave, but the doors wouldn't open. Well, yeah, that makes sense considering they were locked. They were locked? Mm-hmm. But that's strange.
good face, good face.
Of course, the front door leads to the engine, and that's always locked for passengers, but the back should have been open. Jeez. I'm sure glad I came in here to check. So this is the, I guess it's not, well, I was going to say penultimate, but it's like, that's the second from last. This is second from front train, and then the one up from this is the engine car, I guess. Jeez, I'm sure glad I came in here to check. You two might have been stuck here until the end of the ride. Who locked us in here? The back door was locked for some reason. We should arrive in London in just about 2 hours.
So, someone pulled the emergency stop. Then someone cut the lights to the storage car and locked us in here. And somehow, in the middle of all of this, Alma disappeared.
If you'll excuse me, I have a few more things to check on. Don't stay near too long, you two. This is really no place for loitering. We won't. Thank you.
Rafter, I'm getting such a terrible feeling.
Me too. What should we do?
We need to talk to Professor Martin. We need him to tell us the whole truth. And if there's anyone who might know what happened to Alma, it's him. I need him to be honest with me. If he really is the one who blackmailed Otto Keller, I need to hear it from him. I need to know who Martin really is.
She's made up her mind. Martin, for Emma's sake, I hope it isn't true. Okay, let's go. Sorry, not long enough for me to need to go to break, but I need to step away for just a minute to sort something relatively important. I won't even mute myself. I just need to be in the other room and I'll be back. But you entertain the audience for a while while I resolve something important. Sorry.
So, we finally got some time to talk about Castor. That piece of crap. Oh my god. Can I get... Oh, yes, more Neopets Lord. That's much better than jokingly shit-talking my delightful co-host. Oh, man. God. Oh, trying to think of some good Neopets bits to pick at. Oh, my God. I'm really struggling to. It's also a very long-winded game. Like, you can tell that they read an edition of D&D. And so cruising, we opened this stream by talking about the Neopets tabletop RPG fracas that went down like a week ago at this point, as the Kickstarter. They dropped a public Google Doc with their open beta draft of the game with comments and suggestions enabled, and it was a bloodbath of just seeing a like relatively well-known designer comment. Having read this entire document, I hope that the next time I read this, all of the words are different. It's like...
Oh, shady. Yeah. Also, sorry
extremely.
about that.
No, you're good. Do you successfully pay off the mob, or are they asking for more money?
Something like that. With very, very boring thing, I had my fuse box in my house replaced, which is one of those things that's like, oh, you don't need to do that. And then you're like, oh, actually, doing it is an important thing to do and better to do before there's a problem. But the person who put it in was like, oh, would you mind taking a photo of the front of it with all of the kind of like information labels? And I was like, sure. And then I didn't do it. Because I was out doing other matters, and he kind of just messaged being like, actually, I really do quite need that. So I'm like, let me go and do this now before sending it to him like 2 hours later when he's in bed or whatever. So
very fair.
Let me go get our way. Thank you for waiting.
And cruising there is indeed, so Neopets does in fact have lore. Neopets had story arcs, so I have been informed, and yeah, there have been several Neopets video games that have that have involved like action and fighting.
Mm-hmm. Like a very Jack and Daxter-y one.
Yes. There's the Darkest Fairy, I think it was.
Yeah. You got it. Oh, it is Daltrey.
Ah, hey, you two.
Detective Daltrey. What's he doing outside Martin's cabin?
Jeez, you two look like you've seen a ghost. You all right?
Yeah, we're okay. Are you here to see Professor Martin again? He's being evil.
Yeah, your professor came to see me a little while ago and asked if I could meet him in his cabin around this time. It was just before the train stopped. He said he had something he wanted to talk with me about. Do you have any idea what it was? I didn't say. But he probably just wants to follow up on our last conversation. Whatever it is, I'm sure he wouldn't mind you guys being around for it. Why don't we visit him together? What's wrong?
No, it's nothing. Let's go talk to him. Oh, yeah, all of these shots give me 999 so bad. I keep expecting to hear like ship creaking noises every. Oh, fuck.
Oh my god. Whoa, fuck. Did not see that. Okay, hold on. Is that a gun in his hand? Did he fucking shoot himself?
Oh my god. That particular door handle has such Resident Evil energy. Also, oh shit. Yeah.
There's blood by his shoes also.
Yeah. What happened here?
My god. Professor Martin? Real quick, if Martin was the one behind it, it would make sense that Alma would kill him if he was the one blackmailing. Is he?
I must say, this is actually some incredible pixel art as well. I love that it's like a color graded to fit really well with the scene, has some really nice selective outlining. Like it's not hard edged and black intentionally, so it's like a softer piece. So well done and so sad. Yes, he's dead. There's a gun in his hand. God, did he? Wait, there's something on the table. This is a letter. It's addressed to you and me, Emma.
What does it say?
I should probably be in his voice, I suppose. To Emma and Rafter. Firstly, I would like to apologize if you are reading this after having discovered me yourself. It is my intention that the detective find me first, so that I may spare you such a grim sight. However, I recognize this is not entirely in my control, and I am sincerely sorry if it hasn't played out in the way I intended. By now, it has become clear to me that my secrets cannot stay hidden for much longer. In spite of my best efforts, I am certain the two of you will uncover the truth. It is only a matter of time. I am not angry with you, nor am I disappointed in this outcome. The contrary, I'm very proud of you both. But I regret that the truth is to my great shame. For my sins, I have chosen to end my life, so that I may no longer bear their burden and face the reality of having them come to light. Please, forgive me. Now, I will explain all that has occurred in detail, so that you may finally put your investigation to rest. It wasn't until we arrived in Vendraker that I was informed of the true reason that I was invited. When I first met with Senator Gordon, he informed me that a lawyer named Maxwell had discovered a very dangerous secret. If this secret was publicly revealed, the results would have been very undesirable. Maxwell tried to blackmail Senator Gordon with this information, but even if Gordon acquiesced to his demands, it would have been far too dangerous to allow him to go on with the knowledge of this secret. The only solution was to have Maxwell killed. Gordon's plan was to bribe Maxwell's Gunbreakin housekeeper to kill him in his home and make it look like a robbery. You know the Gunbreakin to whom I'm referring, Otto Keller. As insurance, Gordon would inform Otto that he and his family would be deported should he not comply. Also, I think I now know how Otto Keller was shot in the hotel.
Yeah.
Of course, Gordon could not meet with Otto himself. A man in his position couldn't risk being seen engaging in any such business. So he asked me to do it. I would only be in the country for a short time, and I had no known connection to any of the involved parties. Once the job was done, there would be no evidence to implicate any of us, and Otto would be safely out of the country. As long as everything went according to plan. The night before we left Vendraker was the night Otto was to do the job. After killing Maxwell, he would meet with me in an unoccupied room of our hotel, and I would inform him of his next steps. He was to go with his wife and meet with a magician who would make the necessary arrangements to have them stow away on the train. I too would take the train to oversee their journey and to ensure nothing went wrong. But when Otto met with me at the hotel, he had different plans. Otto was overcome with guilt for having killed Maxwell. He told me he had no intention of making the journey to London. He wanted me to ensure that his wife made the journey out of the country, but he was going to turn himself into the police. He told me he would say it was a robbery. He would say nothing of my involvement or of our arrangement. I sympathized with him in his strong sense of justice, but such a risky plan was simply unacceptable. I told him no. I told him we would finish our arrangement exactly as planned. He protested, so I felt no choice but to find a way to convince him. I told him that if he didn't comply, I'd have his wife deported at once. I told him she would never see freedom again. He became angry and began to argue, and then he became violent. I didn't want to hurt him, but I panicked as he approached me. I fired a shot in his direction. It hit the window. Startled, he lost his balance and fell through the shattered glass. Which is why he didn't bleed that much, I guess. He wasn't shot. Do you remember what I told you of the Vendraken Revolution? That I was a university student at the time in which it took place? In truth, I was deeply involved. Together with Gordon and with our friend Maya. We were very young and very idealistic. We wanted the best for our country, and we were determined to fight for it. There was a period where it seemed as if all our efforts were being thwarted before we even had a chance to act. One of our companions was acting as an informant. One day, Gordon revealed to me that he had discovered the traitor's identity. It was Maya. We confronted Maya with this information. He denied everything. He began to accuse us of us being the informants, of betraying him. I do not remember much about what happened next. All I know is that Gordon and I left the meeting alive, and Maya did not. I have lived every moment of my life since this incident trying to hide from me. I left my home country. I refused to think of it even for a moment. I had nearly succeeded in forgetting it entirely, until Gordon informed me that the Mayor Maxwell had somewhere...
Lawyer.
Until Gordon informed me that the lawyer Maxwell had somehow discovered what we had done. Those who knew Mayer believed he had died in an uprising. Gordon and I covered our tracks carefully, but perhaps not carefully enough. Lastly, I would like to talk about Alma, the wife of Otto Keller and the woman I so shamefully made a widow. The night Otto died, after you went to sleep, I went to his home myself to meet with Alma. I'm very sorry this happened, but we must still go through with the plan. I don't know if I can. I'm afraid you don't have a choice. You must be on the train tomorrow. If you aren't, I don't want you to die too. Please. I was determined to make sure that Alma completed her journey with no interference. To at least allow the woman whose life I destroyed an opportunity to find freedom in a new country. I know that the detective will read this letter, and to you I humbly request, please, let her go. She has done nothing wrong and deserves the opportunity to rebuild her life, free from oppression. I know everything I have told you will come as a great shock. I should have told Gordon I wouldn't help him. I shouldn't have allowed myself to sink even lower in the name of hiding my past crimes. But I simply must accept that I am a weak man, whose principles crumble in the face of overwhelming fear. I do not deserve to be a teacher, and I do not deserve such wonderful people as yourselves as my student. Rafter, I am sorry I doubted you. I am certain you will flourish as a scholar of great talent and principle. And Emma, to have been your teacher was one of the great pleasures of my career. I know that you think very highly of me, greatly valued my guidance. I too cherished our time as if you were my own family. The pain I feel in having betrayed your trust is almost too much to bear. There is a silver lining. It is that I can rest knowing that you will become a woman of greater character than any man, much less myself could ever be. In the end, I only would have gotten in your way. I write these words in the hopes that you both may learn from mistakes. You are young. You live in prosperous times. You have your whole lives ahead of you. You have the opportunity to make something of yourselves in a way I never could. Please, do not take this for granted. Thank you both for everything. Bye. Emma!
Thank you for telling me everything. How are you holding up?
I'm okay. Detective, how's Emma doing?
I spoke to her briefly after she came to. She told me she was okay and that she wanted some time alone to think. I can tell she's a pretty tough girl. I know she'll make it through this, but deep down, it's clear she's really hurting. Don't worry, though. I'll keep an eye on her until we arrive.
Thank you.
You're a good kid, you know that? Trust me, I'm a good judge of character.
You really don't want to hear that.
I get the feeling that when she's ready for a shoulder to cry on, you'll be there for her.
What about Alma? Have you found her yet?
No. I've looked all around, but there's been no sign of her. It's very strange, but I'm starting to think it's possible she fled from the train while we were stopped. Wouldn't have been difficult to slip out during all the commotion.
But she didn't stop the train. She was with us. So...
And she wasn't supposed to be on board anyway. It's unlikely anyone would have noticed. Whoever she is, I hope she's okay. There's quite a bit of this I'm still trying to make sense of. How could Martin have hidden the sound of a gunshot? Not a single person I've talked to said they heard anything strange. And I'm still in the dark about a lot of your investigation. You don't mind, can we discuss some of the details? Maybe it'll help me piece some things together.
Jeez. Where do I start? Oh! Oof.
Wow. So, okay, the suicide note was really long and dense, and I'm a little worried that I didn't. I mean, I guess this is going to be kind of a
recap of the information within it. Yeah.
Perhaps, yeah. Though I expect from the way he's talking that this is more going to be a recap of things he wasn't there for.
Also, this is essentially the day 3 equivalent of going over what happened all the days because Emma is not available. Also, thank you very much, Cruising. I didn't respond straight away. We were still kind of in the moment, but it was a good monologue to read. Yeah. Mostly what it boils down to is that the Cliff Notes version of it is that Senator Gordon invited Martin to come to Vendrake because he needed Martin's help with some stuff. And because they go back from childhood, Martin was like, well, yeah, you're one of my best friends. You helped us be revolutionaries. I would love to assist you with something. He goes, and Senator Gordon is like, hey, there's been a lot of political drama here. There's been a bunch of informants involved, so on and so forth. Things are getting real fucking messy. And if things remain messy, it's going to be a problem for me. So I need you to go and speak to Otto Keller and convince him to go and kill this corrupt lawyer. And Martin's like, I don't want to do that, but I do trust you. Convinces Otto to go and do it. He does so. Then the next step of the plan is to get both Otto and Alma out of Vendrake, so then this can be a cold case, as it were. There'll be nobody who could prove that the specific person that shot the lawyer.
Right.
However, Otto has a moment of guilt and is like, hey, I killed somebody. I can't just let that go. I'm not going to be able to live with myself. I want you to get Alma out of the country. I'm going to turn myself in. Martin goes, hey, that's very noble of you, but you can't do that. If you turn yourself over to the police, they'll investigate in detail, and then all of us are fucked. You can't. In fact, to scare you into complying, I'm going to say a hasty thing and say, hey, I'm going to turn your wife over to the police.
Yeah.
Otto freaks out, understandably. Martin freaks out as somebody who isn't in a position to go and do any kind of physical altercation against somebody who is a gardener for a living and happens to be armed. Fires a shot, doesn't shoot him, shoots out the window. Still kind of strange that they managed to find the bullet. It feels like that still would have gone quite far afield.
Yeah.
The shock of the window being blown out and the gun firing makes Otto backstep, and he falls out of the window, and that's what kills him because he falls from the 5th floor.
Right.
Backwards, so yeah. After Otto is murdered and the police do their investigation, and like Martin is largely cleared as a rubbernecker, which is still maybe actually really bad on the police's part. They really should have taken everybody in for questioning, because they didn't find his gun. What the fuck? Like, where did that gun go? I guess the gun is here. It's the same gun.
Oh God, I guess it is.
Yeah. At no point did they like pat everybody involved down to check if they were armed, or search
Also,
their
he
hotel
made it
rooms.
onto the train with the gun.
So after they were cleared from questioning, as it were, he goes over to Alma and goes to Alma and says, "Hey, so your husband is dead, but you have to leave. Because if you don't leave, you're going to be dead too, or sent back to Grumbrika, which sounds like that would be worse than death." Alma's like, fuck, why? What life do I have now that my husband's dead and I have to go and live in a different country where I don't have anything? I would really rather not. Martin says, "Hey, you have no choice. We've already got this in hand. I also have to leave because it would be odd if I stayed here. I have people in tow who are my alibi. So I guess we're all gonna go on this fucking train together." Unfortunately, the informant character is surplus to all of this. I don't think they really accounted for the fact that he's also trying to get out of Dodge. So, unfortunately, he ends up on the train. Unfortunately, Alma decides to have a goodbye tour and speaks to Emma.
Yeah.
If one or neither of those things occurred, then Emma would have made it home scot-free, although obviously she would be horrendously upset. But there's been a bunch of really fucking unfortunate coincidences with who's been on the train and who's seen whom that has kind of pushed things to how they currently are. I think Martin probably would have made it to London had Emma not investigated, but he also could not tell her to not do that without fucking everything up and implicating himself. So, everything sucks and nothing's okay.
Oof. Yeah, wow, that is a lot. I appreciate you doing the recap.
Hopefully that all made sense and was a little easier to follow.
Yes, I'm still a little surprised that we're just gonna be like, okay, so Deltree, here's all the deeds, but hey, we haven't done it yet, so who knows? As soon as you're ready, let's review what we know.
Oh yeah, I hadn't finished packing yet when this all occurred.
I want you to take me through what happened today from the beginning. Along the way, I may have some questions, so bear with me. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Sure. First thing we did today was... Oh, that's a good question.
That is a good question, shit. I think it was Martin, because I think we woke up and we were like, "Where's Emma?" And like, "Oh, I know the one place she would be," and it was.
Sorry, hold on.
So Neopets, am I right, folks?
No, it's fine.
I know, I'm kidding.
We talked to Martin. After what happened with Mr. Fisher last night, Emma wanted his advice.
I see. Did you have any suspicions about him at this point?
No, not
Yes.
really. Yes. But there was just one thing. We knew that Martin was friends with Senator Gordon, and Gordon was one was the one who invited Martin to visit Vendrake. That's where the idea for this study trip came from in the first place, but when we heard Mr. Fisher was spying on Senator Gordon, we didn't really know what to make of it.
If only I'd learned the connection between Martin and Gordon sooner.
Before we left, Martin told us to be careful, and he'd rather us not get involved in anything.
I suspect at this point he knew it was only a matter of time before he found out his secret.
After that, we decided to go find Mr. Fisher.
Fisher. You know, why were you two interested in him in the first place?
Well, that's because he knew someone named Alma. Oh? Oh, yes, true. Yeah, he may have been, and he was like, I don't remember. Because he refused to answer it the day before, and we never really got the chance to ask him.
This old man can be so evasive.
As it turns out, Fisher was one of the few people who may have witnessed Elmer and Alma together. Well, who one of the few people, and trying to do that with the accent as well, hard, was one of the few people who witnessed Emma and Alma together before Alma went missing.
Interesting. So, what did he say? Did he see them together?
No, he didn't. But he did see something else in the lounge car that morning that raised our suspicions. He saw Vader make a deal with the bartender. And then we went into that whole Phoenix Wright arc of disproving evidence.
Vader, huh? I had a feeling that woman and her husband were up to something.
The bartender told us oh god, yes. Good sprite. The bartender told us that Vader had gotten a glass of wine, but Fisher remembered it differently. He saw Vader give the bartender money, but leave without a drink. Sam in chat is like, that's when Emma, Alma, Elma, and Alama all met each other. There's a lot of drama. The bartender was very clear with us that 3 drinks were sold, and his cash register confirmed it, so...
Merriam-Webster defines a lemma as a... No. If Veda wasn't one of them, then...
Yeah, we were able to catch him in the lie, and prove that Alma must have had tea with Emma that morning.
So then... Ah! That's it. Veda paid him to keep his mouth shut.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, we'd been suspicious of Vader and Monty from the beginning because of the ring we found in their cabin.
A ring?
Yeah. The engraving on the ring said, "To my beloved A.K." We didn't know Alma's last name at the time, but we knew there was a possibility the ring belonged to her.
Fascinating.
The bartender never fully admitted anything, but he did give us something that confirmed our suspicions. The money.
A nice cup of tea. Yeah,
I wouldn't drink a cup of tea from this man. He gave us the money Vader paid him, and he wanted us to tell her that he changed his mind.
Huh. Well, this explains why I saw you two outside of Veda and Monty's cabin earlier. Could tell immediately that those two were suspicious, but I wasn't able to get anything out of them.
Vader didn't pull any punches. It looks like your comments must have really bothered him.
You know, they say ACAB, but they don't think about your feelings. So what happened when you confronted them?
It took some effort, but we eventually got Vader to admit she knew something about Alma. She wouldn't tell us more, though. We got so close, but... Right, she was right about one thing. Even though we knew something was going on, we didn't have any real evidence.
Wait, I thought you had Alma's ring.
No, we didn't. It had gone missing overnight. Emma had it in her room when she went to bed, but she didn't when she woke up. Thought we were finished, but then Martin showed up with a missing ring. After that, Emma and I joined him in his cabin and he told us everything. Well, not everything, but almost everything. He told us he was helping Senator Gordon smuggle Alma out of Vendrake because she was under threat of deportation. The plan involved her hiding in a place of Monty hiding. The plan involved hiding her in a piece of Monty's stage equipment in the storage car.
Oh, no wonder we couldn't find her.
He told us he took the ring so that Emma and I wouldn't get involved, and he even said there was someone else he was suspicious of. You.
Who, me?
Yeah,
Little old me?
it was hard to believe.
The birthday boy?
Yeah, but I'm just a little guy. I'm just a little guy. It was hard to believe, but he told us that the Vendraken police were unsympathetic to Gambrican immigrants. Is that hard to believe? And that if Alma were found, she'd be deported. She'd certainly be deported, or worse.
I'm ashamed to admit it, but that part's certainly true. That's why I changed my mind about Fisher. I couldn't bring him back to Vendraka knowing what would happen to him.
Yeah, you told us about that when Emma and I saw you in the lounge car earlier this evening. And there was one more thing you told us that finally made us suspicious of you, of Martin. It was who killed Otto Keller. No, you don't know that. Alma's last name, right? Did we know that beforehand?
I don't think so. No, I think it was Alma's last name.
It was Alma's last name and her relation to Otto Keller. Martin didn't tell us that Alma was married to the man who was murdered 3 days ago, so we knew there had to be more to the story. That's when we decided we needed to talk to Alma herself. She was the only one who could tell us the whole truth. So, something, and we would have gotten away with it too if not for these meddling kids. Functionally, there was nothing stopping them from waiting until they arrived in London to speak to Alma. If we know that Martin is involved with her smuggling, it would be feasible for them to kind of like speak to her directly. Because like, it's the fact that we managed to get her out of her cage that is kind of the reason why she's been kidnapped again. Unless the person who did it knows how to get inside the cage, which is possible.
I mean, the supposition, like, it's possible that Daltrey is right that she did escape.
It's just that
possible.
She was talking to us when the emergency brake was pulled, so she couldn't have done it.
Yes, that's true.
So there has to be at least one other person operating within mind to spirit her away in this way.
Yes, no, that's a very good point.
Which may have been, because if it may have been Vader and Monty, and this is something that's part of the plan, as it were.
I see. That does make sense.
Also, this may have been, quote, quote, this may have been part of the plan, was also possibly Martin's whole deal, because the train whistle is loud enough where he could probably fire the gun during that and have nobody hear it.
So you went to the storage car to look for her?
It wasn't easy, but we eventually found her in a very unlikely place. In the guillotine. She was underneath the floor of the big cage in a hidden compartment.
Unreal. I just can't believe how much you two were able to discover. You really have a detective instinct. And to think, I was all ready to call it quits. God, what kind of detective am I?
One without the instinct, I guess.
Farewell, my beloved. I'm sorry, don't mind me. Please continue.
Reddit scroll. The chat is calling for you to resign. Daltrey, you have no choice. Alma was reluctant to talk at first, but she trusted Emma, so eventually she opened up to us. She told us about a man who blackmailed her husband, Otto, to get him to murder Maxwell. And just as she was about to tell us who it was, the train came to a stop and the lights went off. When we finally got the lights back on, Alma was gone and we discovered someone had locked us in. If it wasn't for the porter coming by and unlocking the door, we might have been stuck there for the rest of the trip.
I suppose it's Martin who did all that. Does that mean he's the one who pulled the emergency stop? But why would he? Wait. I think I know why.
You do?
Yeah, think about it. Other than making the train stop, what could he cause to happen by pulling the brake? Big toot to cover up the gunshot. Exactly. I couldn't figure out how Martin hid the sound of a gunshot on a crowded train, but the whistle would have provided cover. The whistle always sounds when the train stops and starts, so by pulling the emergency brake, he could predict exactly when it would blow. All he had to do was wait in his cabin for the train to start moving again. Well, that's a plausible theory at least, but it still doesn't explain what happened to Alma.
Once the porter left, Emma and I decided we needed to confront Martin. And that's when we ran into you outside this door.
Thank you. I think I have a good understanding of everything now. Maxwell discovered Gordon's dark secret, and as a result was murdered by Otto, who was subsequently killed by Martin. I guess that just about wraps up my case then. Both murders are accounted for, and both culprits are no longer with us. The only person left to be brought to justice in this whole thing is Senator Gordon.
Is something the matter?
No, it's nothing. Just something I need to think about. None of this should have happened the way it did. It is my responsibility to solve this case, and I failed. I'm sorry.
Detective. So, what are you gonna do now?
I don't know. I really don't. But at least I have some time to figure it out. I'm gonna check on Emma. If you can, try and get some rest. We should arrive in London at around 10 o'clock.
Thank you, Detective. What now? I suppose we're probably going to be in the Channel Tunnel at this point. The Truth, Clear Chapter 4. Yeah, we do still have a whole finale. It was sensible for us to split this.
Yeah.
We'll see what the epilogue... I think we can go through the epilogue and then take a break if you're okay with holding out until then.
Sure. Yeah, that should be all right. Yeah. Rafter? Hello? Are you listening?
Huh? What? Oh, hi, Emma.
You totally zoned out for a minute there. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, anyway, as I was saying, I finished looking over your term paper. I left you a few notes that I'd like you to consider, but it's really wonderful, Rafter. I'm very proud of you.
Huh? My term paper?
Yes. Your paper on post-Vindrican Revolution literature. You just asked me to read it a few hours ago.
Sam says, sorry, Emma. I was thinking about the dead body we both saw. True.
I think this is implied to be a
dream of some kind.
A dream that is time skipped like months into the future. Are you sure you're feeling okay?
Yeah. No, sorry. I mean, thank you. I appreciate you looking over it. I'll check out your feedback a little later.
Great. Honestly, it's very well written, and your thesis is super interesting. You've come such a long way. I just know Professor Martin's going to be so impressed.
Professor Martin?
I just can't stop thinking about how great our trip was. I'm so glad I got to do this before I graduated. I'm really going to miss all this. But hey, This isn't really the end, right? Maybe someday, years from now, the three of us can get together and take another trip. But this time, not as teachers and students, but as friends. Couldn't that be nice? I'm sorry, did that sound weird? I guess being so close to graduation is making me kind of sentimental.
No, it's just...
Oh, Rafter, I'm sorry, I have to go. I told Martin I'd visit him during his office hours in just a few minutes. I really need to get moving. If you have any questions about your paper, let me know, and I'll see you later, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Bye!
Wait, Emma.
What's up?
It's just... I'm really gonna miss you too. That feels like such a sad smile. Ugh.
Yeah.
Huh? I must have nodded off for a bit. I didn't realize how exhausted I was. God, what an embarrassing dream. And looks like we won't be arriving for another 30 minutes or so. Huh. I wonder how Emma is holding up.
Oh boy, a note.
True.
I kind of wonder what the note even is.
I guess, yeah. We scamper to the other cabin. Not here. Wonder where she went. Oh, alright, I have some time. Let's do a quick lap around the train and see if I can find her. Ooh, I guess if it's in 30 minutes, it might be above ground. But I'm like, I would love for there to be a shot of us being in like the main thoroughfare in a carriage and we can't see outside because we're underground. But it is just one of those things being kind of like, I'm sure anybody who even isn't from the UK but is just familiar with where things are in Europe being like, and how is the train getting to England? Closest place to check first would be the lounge car. Oh, I'm Dennis?
I think so. I think you're Dennis and I'm Palmer.
Yeah. Yeah. It was supposed to be British, but I don't care. Hey you! Have you heard the news?
Yeah, have you heard?
Somebody on board was murdered.
Moida! Can you believe it?
Palmer, I don't think he heard me.
No, we must not have. Maybe you should say it louder.
Yes, that will do the trick. Oh, all right. No, I heard you the first time. Yeah, that's very interesting. You don't believe us, do you?
I mean, to be fair, it's not like we have any evidence.
Evidence? Who needs evidence when you have a golfer's intuition? Golfer's instinct. Farewell, my beloved.
Farewell, my birdie.
How does that help? Listen, the train didn't come to an emergency stop for no reason. Sure, the attendants have assured us it was no cause for concern, but that only makes me more suspicious. They're clearly trying to cover something up to avoid bad press. And what could be more damning than murder? Sorry, Dennis. Sounds like a pretty big leap to me. Why won't you let me have any fun? Okay, fine. There's no real evidence of murder, I know, but there's definitely something fishy going on here. My intuition never fails. There's no wrong about that. I wish we could have had more time to figure out what it was. Just our luck. actual news hasn't gotten out. That's probably for the best. If people knew what happened, it might cause a panic.
Oh, Dennis, we need to finish packing.
Ah, you're right. Sorry, my good friend, but we must take our leave. I wish you the very best from now until the end of your round. May your lies be flat.
And your putts be true. Good luck. Sam, I don't know about you, but I believe being I think being a golf bro could be within the remit of being non-binary.
Mm-hmm. There's lots of very specific clothing that goes with being a lifetime golfer that I think you could serve in a very gender non-conforming way.
Going to get all kinds of questionably flattering skirts, but some nice golfing gloves. I think some nice golfing gloves could do me well.
I love Argyle as a pattern.
It's better than Argyle as a movie.
Oh, sure. The only thing I know about that fucking movie is that the poster is just the Argyle pattern, and I'm like, cool, there's nothing else I need to know about this movie then.
Okay,
cool.
But imagine if that was like in the way that many brands were like, oh shit, Barbie succeeded, we can make a movie about our brand, and it was just like literally about Argyle, the concept of the pattern.
With its sequel, Houndstooth.
Oh shit, okay though, Houndstooth would rip. Houndstooth would serve. I would fund Houndstooth.
Got forced to go see that with my ex's family. Oh lord, it was soul-drainingly bad. Oh no. I want to speak to the bartender first.
That's why they were your ex, yeah.
Well, you're back. Tell me, how did it go with the magician and his wife? Did you find your dream woman? You don't want to tell me. It's not that, it's just... No, it's fine. You don't need to tell me. The look on your face says it all. I can tell you found what you were looking for. But I sense the result wasn't quite what you'd hoped it would be. Yeah, something like that. Well, such is life. No, I have not seen her.
I make a habit out of not seeing women, as I'm sure you can tell.
The train is awash with gossip. It would appear something dramatic took place after we stopped. That said, most of the passengers have little idea what actually transpired, myself included. Not even my strongest blend could weaken the detective's constitutions enough to make him tell me. Relax. It was a joke. Nevertheless, I've heard some interesting rumors. If you're curious, I'd be happy to divulge. No games this time. No games. I think we've both had enough fun for one ride, yes.
It does feel kind of like, I don't know if our character would want to hear rumors about a suicide that the person we were close to, but maybe these rumors are irrelevant to that. Who knows?
I'm not entirely sure how this rumor started, but many passengers seem to believe a murder took place while we were stopped. Granted, nobody I've talked to has seen any evidence of this, and I'm sure the truth isn't quite that dramatic. But that hasn't stopped some of our more questionable passengers from pretending to be Hercule Poirot. It's very irritating. He's probably talking about Denison Palmer. It's clear the detective is hiding something from us, but, well, it's none of my business.
In the background, I know I'm a regular Poirot.
Very soon we'll arrive in London, and this journey will be behind us. I would suggest that everyone move on from whatever took place here and prepare to return to their dull, unsensational life. That's my opinion, anyway. I think you have the right idea. Any other rumors? I did hear one more thing. One of the porters was complaining about a man and a woman bothering him in the storage car. He described the woman as fearsome. Could it be... Could it be Vader and Monty? I want to find Emma, but I wonder what they're up to. When I'm done here, I should check it out.
Oh, hello. It's gonna need to settle into this voice. Good gravy. Consider the lobster. Okay.
But sadder.
It's nice consider the lobster's sadness. It's nice to see you again. How are you feeling?
Just immediately leave and go and speak to Vader. Fuck this guy.
You're looking for your friend? I'm very sorry, but I haven't seen her. If you haven't already, I would ask the bartender. He seems to have a keen sense for what's going around the train. Everyone on board seems very restless. People are spreading quite sensational rumors, and the detective did seem somewhat uneasy last I saw him. I wonder if something happened. I must apologize again for my part in everything that transpired these past few days.
It's okay, Mr. Fisher. You helped lead us to the truth, and we can't thank you enough for that.
It's very kind of you to say, but... When the detective told me he was going to let me stay in London, I couldn't hold back my tears. To think, even after everything that has transpired, he'd be kind enough to let me go. Well, it was overwhelming, to say the least. But after my excitement settled down, I began to think, and I realized something very important. I've been quite selfish, truly. And as much as I want to see my daughter and her family, I believe I still have work to do. I'll be returning to Vendreka with the detective. And when I do, I will confess to all that I've done and to all that I know.
Mr. Fisher, are you sure? If you admit the truth, you might be...
I know there will be consequences for my actions, but there are a small price to pay for helping justice be done, and for a clean conscience.
Like, I can't go into the finer details here, but I already know one other person who had like a crisis of faith about the crimes they previously committed, and they're not on the train. They could have been, so,
It is only after I make up for my part in this ordeal that I can face my daughter. I believe... No. I know I'll see her again. And when I do, it will be as a man worthy of being her father.
You know, I think you're already a worthy father, Mr. Fisher.
Please don't do this, Mr. Fisher. Thank you. Nothing terrible has happened.
Okay. Oh, does he have another thought about London?
Not really.
Sure. Alright, Vader and Monty. Monty dialogue? Monty dialogue, let's go.
Oh, it's you. I wondered if I might see you before we arrived. Where's your friend?
I'm not sure. I'm looking for her.
Oh, I see. Yes, Monty, I know. I'm getting to it. Well, when you see her, please tell her that I apologize. And I apologize to you as well. I know I treated you both dreadfully. In my mind, I was only doing everything I could to protect my husband. I involved myself in the scheme for his benefit, but it's only now that I can see what a wicked person I'd become. So, yes, I'm sorry. How was that, Monty?
Thanks. I
You know, I'm really not so bad when you get to know me.
Sure, Vader.
I'm sorry, no. We haven't seen her. Yes, we know what happened to your professor. Monty and I spoke with a detective. When he told us what happened, I knew the jig was up.
Sam's like, Monty and I saw you from across the train and I love your vibe. Oh no.
We adore your vibe. I didn't know I was involving myself with murderers. If I'd known, No, I should be honest. I knew they were up to no good. I chose to look the other way. I'd have done anything for Monty, even if that meant involving ourselves with dangerous criminals. You understand, don't you? It's only love.
Yeah. I was going to say that there's a limited number of actual criminals on the train, but yeah.
Well, maybe someday you'll understand. Maybe even someday soon if you play your cards right. That said, for you to discover your professor like that and to find out about his crimes in that way, it's all quite awful. And I'm sincerely sorry to have played any part in it.
It's okay, Vader. Emma and I, we'll be okay.
I hope so.
So, if you spoke to Detective Daltrey, then what's gonna happen to you two?
Oh, I don't know. The detective didn't arrest us, but I'm sure that's just because he has his hands full at the moment. I don't expect he'll let us off the hook, and I don't intend to be a nuisance for him. Sure, part of me thinks the two of us should just make a break for it once we get to London, but... That's the old Vader. No more little plans and schemes. From now on, I'm all about doing the right thing.
Also, all of this magician's equipment is expensive.
Whatever makes you happy, darling.
Wow, I'm actually kind of touched.
Such an awful thing.
I guess Vader and Monty are just here to check their luggage before we disembark. Well, I don't think I have anything left to discuss with them. I should get back to looking for Emma.
Hey, before you go...
Oh, Vader is the embodiment of that I use tricks and schemes to get my way image. I haven't seen that image before, but also I love that kind of character of women in fiction. Love a scheming woman in a piece of media who doesn't get her way. Blair Waldorf in Gossip Girl is like the blueprint of that shit for me. I adore that kind of character archetype dearly.
There's something I should tell you.
What's this about?
Can I trust you?
What do you mean?
What I'm about to tell you requires the utmost discretion. You can't tell anyone. Not even the detective.
Well, all right. I have to know what this is about. Yeah, you can trust me.
Good. I have a message for you.
A message?
I wasn't even sure if I'd get to deliver it. But since you're here, well, here goes nothing. She'd like to speak with you.
She?
She's hiding in our cabin. The door is locked, but if you knock and say who it is, she'll let you in.
Wait, does she mean...
That's all I can tell you. After all, the new Vader is supposed to have nothing to hide, right? You'd better hurry, though. We'll be arriving in London pretty soon.
You better hurry, though. I'm going to count to 5, and then after that, I'll be coming after you.
I'm going to take it back.
Thank you. I'm on my way.
Good luck.
No new Monty dialogue. Rip. But the jig is up. He doesn't need to do it anymore.
It's his lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he forgot how to talk.
Yeah. You'd figure that he would learn sign language, right? Like...
You would expect it to be something that is maintained more on the stage than, you know, the same way that Teller of Penn and...
Doesn't speak,
Penn is,
sure.
Or is... Yes, no, it is Penn that is the talkative one.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
No, that makes sense. That's true. Could it really be? Alma?
Oh, hey. Just the man I wanted to see. I was on my way to come get you.
Detective Daltrey. I wonder what he's up to now.
Guess who's under arrest? It's you.
Great. Cool.
I was just with Emma in the observation car. She told me she wanted to talk to you.
Oh. That's funny. I've been looking for her. This is just about the only place I haven't... That's just about the only place I haven't checked.
Glad I caught up to you then. We'll be arriving soon, so you shouldn't keep her waiting too long. You'll never see Emma again once we...
This is how we choose our ending. Do we go to Emma or do we go to Alma? I does not want to talk about Martin. How is she doing?
She's okay, but I can tell she has a lot on her mind. I know she's been through a lot. She has every right to be upset, but even so. I get the sense that something else is bothering her. Call it my detective's instinct.
I threw you out the window.
Farewell, my beloved! Well, whatever she's thinking, it's none of my business. I'll let you two sort it out.
I wonder what's on their mind. I guess we're going to talk to you about Alma.
Still no sign of her.
And it will remain that way. I trust Daltrey, but I gave Vader my word I wouldn't say anything.
Okay. Interesting that...
We've been interrupted from... Because we obviously can't open the door while he's here, so...
I mean, there's one option for go-to.
Emma's waiting for me in the observation car. I need to wrap this up quick so I can go find her. Yeah, to where we currently are, but... I can't let Daltrey see me go. Yeah. Should wait until he leaves. Alright, fine.
You know, I spoke with him for a pretty long time yesterday. I liked him. He seemed like a decent man, passionate about his work and proud of his students. I'll admit, his connection to Vendraka and his presence at the hotel raised my suspicions, but after talking to him, I was sure there was no way a guy like that could hurt anyone.
Well, he's only shot one person.
Your professor went through a lot of hardship. This can't excuse his actions, but... Do you think it's fair to judge someone for how they act in an impossible situation? Situations no person should ever have to endure? I just can't help but wonder, what would I have done in his situation? If I felt there was no choice, what would you do?
I don't know.
Yeah, neither do I.
And what about you, Detective? Have you figured out what you're gonna do next?
Listen, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. We may know the truth, but bringing any true resolution to the situation is gonna be difficult. What started as a murder ended up as a genuine government conspiracy. I get the sense that Senator Gordon's the type to have made contingency plans for this exact scenario. Even if Martin were alive to confess, bringing Gordon to justice would have been difficult. Without him, well, I promise you, I will do everything in my power to bring the truth to light and have Gordon answer for his crimes. But for you and Emma, this story ends when we get to London. If I've learned anything these past few days, it's that I've allowed myself to ignore my country's many problems for far too long. I'm not naive enough to think I can solve them alone, but all I can do is try my best to bring some closure to everything that happened these past few days. And hopefully, then it'll be a step in the right direction. My advice, forget about Vendreka. Go back to your lives. I'll leave the rest to me. Okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna work within the system to fix it.
Uh-huh. I believe you. Well...
The systems famously are not at all resistant to be fixed from within.
Well, I'd better go find Emma, so I'm gonna get going.
Ah, yeah, you should. I'm sorry to have kept you for so long. There's that detective's instinct again. You're hiding something from me, aren't you?
I run down the corridor. Farewell, my beloved! What? Alma, I told Vader I wouldn't say anything, but...
You know, I was really sticking my neck out by telling Fisher I'd let him stay in London. If there were any other stowaways on board, it'd be really hard for me to get away with letting them walk. But I sympathize with them, in spite of what my job asks me to do, you know. My heart sometimes tells me to do the opposite. So, maybe, if there were any other stowaways still on board, well, maybe it's for the best that I don't know about it. I guess it'd be more, maybe it's for the best that I don't know about it. Well, I'm gonna try to go get one last drink before we arrive. Sure hope the bar's still open.
You should try the tea, it's delicious.
I'll catch up with you and Emma once we get to the station. Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks, Detective. And, good luck with everything, I guess.
Don't sweat it.
Alright. So Emma's waiting for me in the observation car. I'll catch up with her as soon as I can, but first I need to talk to Alma. Alma? It's me, Rafter. Addressing by first name out loud? Terrible spy.
Yeah.
Alma, she's okay. Hello, Rafter. It's good to see you again. Yeah, same to you. Alma, what happened? And why are you hiding out here in Vader's cabin? I owe you an explanation. But if you don't mind, I would like to explain it to both you and Emma, if I could. Do you know where she is? Yeah, she's in the observation car. I was just about to go and see her. Do you want to come with me? I don't think I don't think I should leave this place with that detective still snooping around. I understand. I don't want you to do anything you're uncomfortable with, but you don't have to worry about Detective Daltrey. He's all right. Trust me. No, I don't think I will, but okay. It's okay, though. I'll go get her. Wait, hold on. I'll come with you. Are you sure? Yes, I trust you. And if you trust the detective, then I do too. Okay, let's go.
Crazy choices happening here.
Mm-hmm. We get the shot of the title card with the reverse of the train at night. That makes sense. I skipped over that dialogue. It's fine. Emma?
Hi, Rafter.
How are you doing?
I'm all right. I just keep going over everything that happened in my head. I don't know what to think or what to feel. It still just doesn't seem real. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Hey, Emma, I brought someone with me. She wants to talk to us.
Huh?
Hello again, Emma.
Alma. Oh, Alma. I'm so glad to see you're okay. When we lost you earlier, I thought the worst.
I'm sorry to have worried you so much. This whole time, I've been nothing but a burden to you. I feel so guilty. I feel like I owe you both so much.
Rafter and I just wanted to do the right thing. We wanted to help someone in need, and we wanted to find the truth. You don't owe us anything, Alma. But I think you can help us with one more thing. Finding the real truth.
Yes, you deserve that. You deserve to know what happened after I met you in the storage car. When the lights went out,
No, that's not what I meant.
What is Emma getting at? I don't... Emma, what's this about?
There's something about Martin's story that doesn't make sense. I was wondering if it's like the suicide note feels it has so much in it and is so within his voice that it's felt like, well, this can't entirely be baloney, but it's a suicide note in a video game, and would it be kind of an anticlimax to end like that? So I was wondering.
He might be lying in the note. I do kind of believe he shot himself, but I wonder if all the information there is fully accurate.
It's just a small thing, but I can't stop thinking about it. Rafter, with everything you know, who do you think killed Edison Maxwell?
Maxwell? But that's... Well, we know that already, don't we? It was... Fuck.
Yeah, I'm like,
Otto
fuck,
Keller.
Edison.
I think, yeah, because she's Alma Keller, so it would be her husband, Otto, which is why all of this happened. Unless we're saying that kind of like, oh, it should be somebody else, but I don't... Before I go hit enter on this, do you have any other raises on who that could be instead? This is building towards the idea that it could be Alma, but there hasn't really been evidence about that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you that it does kind of feel like this is going to be moving that direction, but I don't have any...
Because it's been so... Something that really stood out to me from the very start and hasn't been resolved still is what the, I guess, crime scene of Otto being shot looks like, right? We knew that it was on the 5th floor and that the window was knocked out, but we've not seen that room. It was why I was up in the air as to whether he personally was shot or not, because we couldn't tell.
We did note there was a surprising lack of blood.
And that just might be a detail thing, like we don't want it to be super gory,
yeah,
and like,
of course.
Yeah. But it was like, oh, if he bled out upstairs and then by the time he landed there wasn't that much blood left, would make a lot of sense. But it might just resolve that the room that was unoccupied, because also not how hotel rooms work. Martin being like, and we found an unoccupied hotel room to have it. How did you get into that room? Granted, it's the 80s, not electronic locks. You could probably pick it, but...
You know, it seems that way, but... Alma, You have something to tell us, don't you?
Do you mind if I tell you a bit about my husband, Otto? It was shortly after we were married that Otto suggested we flee to Vindrick. But even after we moved, we still struggled to get by. Both of us searched for suitable work to little success. The only jobs we could find were low-paying positions as housekeepers for that dreadful lawyer, Maxwell. Oh, both of you, huh? We would alternate days, and if for some reason one of us were unable to work, the other would go instead. Their work was grueling, and Maxwell was a tyrant. Both Otto and I were so worn down. I would often return home late at night and break down in tears, but Otto never complained. He would comfort me, reassure me that someday our situation would improve, that this wouldn't be forever. In spite of everything, he believed in Vendraker. He truly was a good man. One night, Otto returned home looking pale. I asked him what was wrong, and he told me. That was the night your professor first met with him and instructed him to kill Maxwell. He confessed to me what he had been told. He was beside himself. He didn't know what to do. He thought we should go to the police, but I feared they would be unsympathetic. And I feared the consequences for us if your professor found out. When the night came that Otto was to kill Maxwell, he was supposed to go to work as normal. Otto couldn't even get out of bed, sick to his stomach. He decided not to do it. He'd never kill a man. He was too good for that. As always, he assured me that everything would be all right, but we both knew that this time was different. I was so frightened. And then Otto, too sick to go to work, asked me if I would go for him, as I had done many times before. I went to Maxwell's that night. I don't believe he heard me come in the door, because his attention was elsewhere. As I walked in, I overheard the conversation he was having on the phone. It sounded like he was bragging to one of his colleagues. He boasted about how he was blackmailing a Gambrican immigrant he had working for. Which would have been Fisher, I guess.
Yeah.
He laughed as he told his friend how he treated... Oh my God, sorry. He laughed as he told his friend how he threatened to have the man deported if he didn't obey. He was exploiting another struggling Gambrican in the same way your professor was exploiting my husband. Made me so angry, and I was afraid. So many thoughts were rushing through my mind, and I immediately fled and told my husband what I had done. He just looked at me. He looked at me in a way no one had ever looked at me before. He got up and dressed immediately. He told me he was going to meet with your professor as originally planned, as if he'd completed the job. He left. And that was the last time I ever saw him. I didn't know he had planned to turn himself in and take credit for the murder. I suppose this was his way of accepting responsibility for what I had done. It was only later that I found out he intended to have me travel to London alone. But even before then, was in the look he gave me. The moment that I saw his face, I knew that he didn't love me anymore. And how could he? How could a decent man like Otto love a murderer? I wasn't good enough in him. I let him down. And he let me go.
Isn't true. Martin never intended to kill your husband. He said so in his letter. They had an altercation at the hotel, but it wasn't because Otto decided to turn himself in. It was because Martin threatened you. Martin told Otto that you would be deported if he refused to comply with the plan. Otto protested, so Martin panicked and shot at him. I think your husband tried to do the right thing, both for himself and for you. He died trying to protect you, Alma. Rafter? I think you have something that belongs to Alma, don't you?
I'm just gonna keep the ring, actually. Oh yeah, that's right. I mean, we don't really have an inventory, but it would be very funny. It'd be very funny if we could give her the wrong thing.
The attorney's badge? Where did you even get that, Rafter?
This is...
We found this in Veda and Monty's cabin. It's your wedding ring, isn't it?
I took this off after they found me. After I talked to you. They left it in their cabin because I didn't think I should wear it anymore. Oh, comedy of errors.
It's because of this ring that we found you, Alma. We knew it was yours because of the engraving. To my beloved, Alma Keller. Your husband loved you, Alma, until the very end.
No. Otto. When the lights went out, your professor immediately grabbed me and took me back to his cabin. He spoke with me in some detail about his life, about who he actually was and who he was to you two. Then, he handed me his gun. He had the scene set to... Okay. He had the scene set to look like a suicide. All I had to do was place the gun in his hand when I was finished. He instructed me to wait for the train to start moving and to shoot when the whistle blew. That's a fucked up thing to do, Martin.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you've killed once before, so you can kill me, right?
What, like, is he doing this out of a sense of, like, here, now you can avenge him?
I mean, column A, but also the kind of personality that Martin is, I think pulling the trigger would be something he would find hard to do. So
of course.
Displacing that to somebody else is probably something that he would consider easier. Then I was to go to the magician's cabin and hide with them until the train finally arrived in London. I suppose this is how he felt he could make amends for Otto's death, allowing me to take revenge. I took the gun. I stood there, waiting for the train to move. Neither of us said a word. Just stared into each other's eyes for what felt like an eternity. He wasn't afraid. He had made up his mind. He was pitiful. So, I waited. And I waited until...
It's all right, Alma. You don't have to tell us anymore. I don't blame you. After what he'd done to you, I'm sure I'd have done the same.
Emma, please don't get the wrong idea. I don't blame you for thinking like you do. After all, what I've done is something I will have to live with for the rest of my life. But I didn't kill your professor. After some time had passed, I handed him his gun, and I left. 3 nights ago, I nearly lost myself. Grief and guilt clouded my mind, and I didn't feel like I had anything left to live for. When I was lying alone in that cage, I ceased to feel anything at all. I may as well have been dead. As soon as the train departed, I had escaped from where I was hidden and came here, to this exact spot. I had intended to earn my own life. I had waited here, trying to work up the courage to do the only thing I thought was left for me. When suddenly, you appeared and brought me back down to earth. You helped bring my humanity back to me. And I wasn't about to lose it again for something as horrible as revenge. You're a special girl with a good heart. I sincerely hope, in spite of everything, I sincerely hope your spirit isn't broken. We should arrive in just a few minutes. I'm going to return to the magician's cabin. If you want to tell the detective about me, I won't stop you.
I'm glad we found you, and maybe someday we'll come back to London and find you. Does that sound good?
I'd like that. Thank you.
Goodbye.
See you later, Alma. Goodbye. Emma? Well, that was fucked up, huh?
Yeah?
How'd you know? How'd you know that Alma killed Maxwell?
There was an inconsistency between Martin's description of Maxwell's death and Daltrey's. Think about it, Rafter. Do you remember?
No.
What was the inconsistency?
Huh.
Notes. Fuck. Okay, E.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Sure. With that Martin and Gore. Mayor. Right. Otto killed Maxwell. Yes. Okay.
was it the
So,
description
like,
of shooting?
Yeah, because he was stabbed to death based on Alma's telling of it.
Yeah.
I was wrong about Daltrey. Having looked at all the relevant evidence here, I don't think we can tell directly. So
I guess we'll see what the options are, unless it's a type-in thing, which would be kind of crazy. I think it's the murder weapon.
Good guess. No, see.
Good guess, but no. According to Daltrey, the scene of the crime was very clean. There's no sign of a struggle or any indication of a robbery. But Martin specifically said the plan involved making the crime scene look like a robbery. Otto could have made a mistake, but under the circumstances, I couldn't shake the feeling there's another explanation.
Because Alma wouldn't know what the cover-up was supposed to be.
Of course. That's when I realized the murder might have been committed by someone who only knew part of the plan. The part that involved killing Maxwell. That left only one person.
Very perceptive, as always.
Rafter, do you think that we did the right thing?
What do you mean?
I keep thinking about what would have happened had we not gotten involved in all this. Right now, we'd just be thinking about how nice of a trip this was. And Martin would still be here. It's not that I wish we hadn't learned the truth. It's just maybe there could have been a better way. If I'd done things differently, or if I just wasn't so obsessed with finding Alma. It's just, how could I not be? How could I just forget about her? She was all alone. Nobody else looking for her. Nobody else seemed to care about her at all. I couldn't do nothing. If nobody else was going to fight for her, then it had to be me. At least, that's what I thought. Now I'm not so sure. Should I have just minded my own business and left it alone? I'm sorry, I don't even know what I'm saying.
Well, a rare talk sprite from us. Hey, Emma, can you tell me something? Why did you want me to come on this trip?
Why do you ask?
It's just, when you first told me about this whole thing, I wasn't too sure about it, but you're really insistent. You kept telling me how good it'd be for my writing, how it'd be a good chance to show Martin what I could do. I know you really meant all of that, but was that the only reason?
No. No, of course it wasn't. I was nervous about traveling overseas for the first time, and I didn't want to. I mean, I knew I'd be safe with Professor Martin, but I didn't want to go alone. I wanted someone else to share this experience with, and I wanted it to be you. And now look at this mess I got you into. You must think I sound pretty pathetic.
You know, Emma, before we met, I really felt kind of lost. These past few years, I thought I figured something out. Or at least, for the first time, I thought I had a goal. I wanted to prove myself to Martin, just like you did. Sometimes in class, he'd answer him so enthusiastically, and he'd give you that sly smile of approval. I'd just want to roll my eyes. But honestly, I was jealous. I was jealous that Martin thought so highly of you. I just knew I couldn't compare. I wanted what you had. Someone who really believed in me, and the talent to deserve it. I don't know if it was just because I was jealous or what, but it just seems dumb now. Emma, you saved someone's life. You saved her life by just being who you are, and by doing what you thought was the right thing to do. And on top of that, it's all because of you that the real truth behind multiple horrible crimes finally came to light. I never had any reason to be jealous, because from the day I met you, I already had someone to look up to. I think you did the right thing. And I'm glad I was and I'm glad I was here to help you do it. And both Alma and Martin were right about you. You really are a remarkable person, Emma. I'm so glad to have you as a tutor and a friend. The precious being. His eyes sparkle like hers now. I noticed that actually, for the most part, he doesn't get eye shines when we see him in like the
True.
CGs.
Oh,
So
interesting.
he's a pure-hearted boy.
It does feel like the few times we see him in CGs, he's looking kind of lost in thought or forlorn.
Mm-hmm. So this is him being genuine towards the camera.
Thank you, Rafter. And Rafter, don't think that just because of all this, you can skip writing that term paper. Martin isn't here anymore, so it's my responsibility to make sure we finish the study program. And I won't take no for an answer. I want this to be the best essay you've ever written, okay?
Don't worry. It will be.
Good. I can't wait to read it.
Hold hands, goddammit. Okay, good.
You know it was coming.
Give me het slop, yells chat.
I think they're just friends.
Mm-hmm. Historians will say that they were best friends. Ah, video games. Oh, is he also the soundtrack composer? Hold on.
Oh shit, I think he is. Wow.
Wow.
Scary.
Impressive, yeah.
Yeah. Quack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, we could put fuck, man.
Fuck off. Oh my god.
Impressive. That was good. I really like that.
Yeah, strong ending.
Yeah. I think we were definitely right to give it its own.
Yes. Yeah.
Timing.
Considering how we have been streaming for almost 3 hours. Yes,
Yeah,
I agree.
I will say I think I am a little tired. I don't think we will go to second game today.
No.
I think we will just discuss our thoughts and then wrap. But good shit. And we return to title.
What that's an interesting ending for the How often in mystery games do you have a main character have anyone commit suicide and leave a note and they actually did it? I do want to discuss this game.
Yes.
I gotta piss so
No
crazy
worries.
bad.
No worries.
So
We'll do a 5-minute break and then we'll come back and decompress.
okay, I mean, it will take me 90 seconds. We just had someone hop in chat. Thank
Yes,
you, Soup,
you go piss, girl. I'll go chat to chat. Yeah, hi, Super Solidarity. Hi. My eyes are watering a little bit actually. Oh well, congrats on wrapping the case. I know. It's very interesting to kind of have ending because yeah, from their perspective, they're not a cop. their story is like over, right? Like they're gonna have to be taken in for questioning after all this. Like they need to file a report. There's no way that they're just gonna get on a plane from London back to the US, and the paper that he's going to write is immaterial to the events at hand here. But like, yeah, just I can't remember. There's like a term in music when I think it's like resolving, right? Where when you play a bunch of chords in a very specific way, you expect it to kind of return to this chord to bring the kind of like idea or thought full circle. And then as a result, there are some songs that intentionally don't resolve chord progressions to give like this hanging note of like suspense or bittersweetness. And I think that's narratively what's happening here, which was kind of cool. I dig that. I dig that. A denied resolution in music. Yeah, cool. I know little bits and pieces about music theory, but I am not a musician myself. Maybe one day, who's to say? Hold on. Because I want to put on some of the Birkin soundtrack while we discuss the thing, because the title theme is good, but it's also relatively short. So we're gonna drop the music volume down, and we're gonna fucking detective theme, sure. Oh, it's gonna be super loud this way, isn't it? Okay, hold on. I have it on file, so let me go and pull it up this way. Give me a second while I'm basically doing behind the scenes. Don't look behind the curtain. Diving into my genuinely absolutely fucking gigantic music soundtrack collection. My first big hobbies as a teenager, when I realized you could just download soundtracks off the internet, was to start collecting video game music as a whole. And to this day, I still do so. Looking find.
Okay, I'm back.
Saved it. I'm trying to go and find the soundtrack because I bought it and downloaded it. Where the fuck is it? Hold on. But while I'm doing that, initial thoughts.
Yes, man, I think this game stuck the landing.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what to take away from this.
Interesting.
This, because I think there's a lot of different ways you can look at this. Having the like crux of the conflict in the story come down to being about immigration is the wrong word, but you know, I guess essentially immigration, and having that, I think I appreciate the fact that it has such a relevant theme at its core in terms of helping people get out of their, I mean, I guess here's the thing, for 99% of this, I guess, or up to the last percentage of this story, it really seemed like it was basically going, yeah, helping people trying to escape bad countries is fine and it is actually a good thing to do, even if you are not working within the law to do that. But the number of people at the end who are coming forward being like, I'm going to confess to everything I did and live a life of honesty was really surprising to me. Just given how much hay was made about how, like, oh yeah, these legal systems treat people very poorly, having people decide that they want to be tried by these known to be unfair legal systems, what I found kind of confusing.
Yes. I mean, just to recatch up, because I was doing lots of tech fucking around, Super Solidarity says, an unresolved piece of music is always such a delight when I don't expect it. And Sam's being like, oh yeah, shout out to KH Insider. Galbadia Hotel is where I was getting stuff.
Who remembers?
Yeah.
Also, the soundtrack to this game is on Bandcamp.
Yes, I was talking about it because I'm pulling it up so it's in our ears, so we don't just have to listen to the title screen. I'm gonna paste. Oh, you did.
Not
Sick.
if I pasted first.
Well, there's
Indeed.
There's a fun SNES remix of the Crime Scene theme, which we're listening to right now. Yes, I suppose it's one of those instances where it is like praxis versus reality, and reality is said with S as scare quotes, right? Where it's kind of like, in theory, all of the people involved here have been in some horrendously fucked up situations, and what they're just trying to do is be somewhere where they don't have to be in fear of like the state, and live a life that isn't under the thumb of like a corrupt lawyer or being sent back to Ganbrican gulags or whatever. But I think a lot of people on the other side of having committed a very serious crime would probably be like, fuck, well, I can't just live with that. That's hard.
Sure.
So I'm not surprised that a lot of the people involved were like, I'll turn myself in even though I know it's a terrible idea and it will consign me to a terrible fate, but I don't know how else I could live with this, because I think the big theme at the end of it feels like it's everybody going, when you've been put in an impossible situation, which is the specific wording that like Daltrey used, what would you do on the other side of it? And some of the people's answers is like, I will turn myself in. Another person, if you're asking to like Martin, it would be like, well, I will do everything I can to make the plan go at least closely as possible to what I planned. And if I can't do that, then fuck, I guess I'll die. Alma similarly was preparing to commit suicide about what she had done had she not been interrupted by Emma. Which is sad. I think everybody's solution to the thing is to consign themselves to either the justice system or perish.
Yeah, I was just like, when you were laying it all out, I was kind of like, oh, I shouldn't say unintentional, but is a theme of this game like martyrdom? Because the whole thing of like, we're going to turn ourselves in thing, especially knowing what we know about Ganbrica and Vendrika, does feel like it is, as you said, in the same, in a similar vein to I'm going to off myself. And I think, that is really interesting, the fact that is like a really strong theme in that's like resoundingly the conclusion that characters came to, is that they need to martyr themselves.
Soup says, related to martyrdom, are they hooking to any particular religious elements as part of their motives? No, not really. I don't think nobody of the main cast were especially espoused religion as an interest. And even though so many, especially European, like war things are partially based in religious division, that didn't come up, I don't think. But even Vader, right, where she was put into an impossible situation after her negligence in checking Monty's stage show, which had him ruin his own career. And so she's like, well, what the fuck do I do now? This is technically my fault, and he fell on his sword to protect me. So even in that way, actually, Monty made himself a martyr to protect his wife. So yeah, I think most of the cast who have been in difficult situations here are about, well, self-sacrifice is the way out of this issue.
Okay, also thinking about Monty, the fact that his career kind of like tanked related to his choice to not martyr himself. Like, you know, when he was obviously the narrative has said, you know, oh well, it was Veda's fault for foregoing the safety measure, and because of that, when he was trapped, he was shouting for help, and everyone was like, he's a fraud, he's cooked. But just, I guess, given the fact that every other character, like, you know, so much of the conclusions are like, we must martyr ourselves. It's hard not to think that, like, would Veda have been better off if Monty had just accepted death?
So, yeah, that would have also have been miserable. Veda does specifically say that after the fact, when they were kind of looking into what went wrong, Monty said that it was his fault that the checks weren't done and not Veda, so he did actually step in the way of her. But yeah. I guess it probably would have been. Yeah, I guess what would have happened to Veda if it was Veda's fault? Well, she just wouldn't be working in that line again. I don't know what the kind of like legal recourse is for kind of like near misses like that, because that happens in television all the time. But
yeah, I expect there'd be manslaughter charges brought. Man, but yeah, that is a really interesting through line that I will admit kind of feels like it. Yeah, Soup in Solidarity says, so like martyrdom as taking personal responsibility? Bleak. Which, yeah, and I'm gonna be straight up. It is bleak, and the game kind of doesn't acknowledge this. Okay, I think the game acknowledges this insofar as, like, everyone's sad about the suicide, but there's not, you know, no one was like, oh man, Martin shouldn't have done this, we could have made things so much, you know, we could have fixed things or set things, you know, there's, it does not question martyrdom enough, and it is so like kind of upbeat and hopeful feeling. It presents the characters who are like, I'm going to turn myself in a kind of like hopeful way that is undermined by what we know about those circumstances, that makes this feel unintentional.
Yes,
maybe I am wrong.
It could, like, you know, Rafter. I can't remember what the canonical name for the guy is, and it doesn't matter.
Red.
Yeah, Rafter's like response to Fisher saying, "I'll turn myself in," wasn't like, "Are you fucking sure? You'll die." Because Fisher's kind of like, you know, I'll be a better man, and I will eventually return to my daughter and make amends after I've made amends for the crimes that I've committed. And it's like, no, you won't. You're quite old.
Your ass is not making it back here. You are old.
We haven't gone into the finer details about what happens to you when you're deported, but I don't think it's good. Also, I think that this is also a side effect, I think, of, as Soup also says, there's no sense of societal remorse. It's really interesting martyrdom is treated entirely as an individual act. Because, like, this game takes some steps from not depicting the visceralness of the people who have died, and that's just in a way to kind of make it a bit more like all ages. Although I say all ages, discussing suicide in a video game is a difficult thing for kind of age gating stuff. Not that they shouldn't have done it, just, you know, you can't make that an E for everyone thing. But it makes me think of, especially because stylistically this is looking to how 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors looks. That game, whenever there is true horror around the death of people takes a lot of time to talk about what it looks like and what it feels like and the internal world of Junpei in how he feels about seeing death, which is a lot, and definitely an 18-only game that this does not do. And I think if we were let into Rafter's inner world a little bit more in just the reaction of seeing, oh, this is a person who I've spent literally, because he's about to graduate, this is his final year, 3 years trying to impress. And it highlights a little bit that he'll never get to do that now. Like, that was his big motivation, and now that has gone. But we don't get in the moment of, oh my god, I cared about this person genuinely quite dearly, even if I didn't think he necessarily cared about me that much. And now that will just never matter. What the fuck do I do with my life now? Is a thing we don't get, but I think it's because the writer would be like, no, that's too sad. We can't, we can't hit that, because that would be like too much. I do wonder how this game would feel if it did actually let ourselves into Rafter's inner world a bit more, aside from just those little scenes where he's like, I'm not as smart as Emma. Humph. It's as much of the inner world as we got, but yeah.
It's... Yeah, it's such a strange thing. But no. Sorry, I let myself get distracted there. I think that's a really good point, and I also think it something that I guess is kind of worth mentioning with as an interesting point of contrast between like 999 and this is the use of the discretion shot, where it will leave so much to the imagination in, I guess, at the very least, to text interpretation. Where this, it's like, okay, we see the professor dead on the table. There is some blood. It's all pretty zoomed out, so we don't see it in any detail. But yeah, it does. It did make that moment. I think I don't want to say that moment was like a soft hit and not a hard hit.
It was a genuine shock to see Martin dead.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was a really effective surprise.
Do you think it's in service of the self-sacrifice aspect to deny us any sort of horror from the witnesses? I wonder. I personally feel it is just a concession about age gating, because all these things need to be ESRB'd and all that. Not that I am a crime scene expert or anything like that, or like a murder enthusiast like the golfers, but the fact that that body was flung out of a 5th floor window for like a very tiny blood puddle was like, that feels important to the nature of this man's death. That feels so specifically strange to me. But actually, it wasn't a thing where it's like, oh, it's a clue. It's just we can't show large amounts of gore because that removes us out of the kind of level of age-appropriate tone that we're trying to hit for the story. I think if this was a different too enthusiastic about murder in general, maybe that's a piece of real life that was very much reflected
what
in
do
the
I
nature.
not know about Tiger Woods?
I mean, I think we know a surprising number of things about Tiger Woods. There's been matters of his personal life that have made their way into public record in the past. I think it's mostly been him cheating, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sports stars, who cares? Briefly, yes, not quite a level of same celebrity drama there, Sam. Goodness.
Tigers and OJ, both orange things, very understandable.
Good connect. That was whip fast, Rafi. Very good.
Thank you. Oh my god.
Impressive.
Christ. Yeah. I guess essentially, as an alternate approach, if they had, because it is true that, you know, this is probably the way to make the tone the lightest and to maintain, you know, so there's not as much like general gravity. You know, you're able to hit that kind of Ace Attorney levity to a degree. But I do wonder what not having, like, just not showing the body and just having a discretion shot. You don't need to have text about, you know, like gore or anything like that.
But a CG of like a bloody hand in the letter or something like that.
Yes, absolutely. And because I think Soup brings up a really good point about treating martyrdom as an entirely individual act, where it is. It's not just about you and your conscience. It's also about how you're affecting the people around you. Because, like, damn, Mr. Fisher, I expect your daughter probably would like to see you again someday.
Yeah.
And like, I get you would prefer. A clear conscience is a luxury.
She doesn't even know this has happened to you.
No,
like,
no. It's, yeah, what it. I really, like, okay, this really makes me wonder about the person who made this game.
About his personal opinions about, like, crimes and what it means to atone, you mean?
There's a part of me that's kind of like, oh, are you like American Catholic? But I don't know. Oh, that is so funny that the, like, Twitter for this game is @TrainDetective. That, man, I really wonder whether that was like a working title or something.
I mean, I guess it's kind of like when Valhalla was in development, I'm pretty sure either the blog or the guy working on it was pithily calling it waifu bartending.
Sure, yes, this makes sense.
So maybe just the kind of like, hey, our pithy title for the game is, or as we've been kind of like advertising it, is like detectives on a train. But I don't know whether it's necessarily the working title.
Ironic Project Dolphin, I understand. Man. Yeah, Sam, Oh, the luxury of a dev interview. That is a really good question. I'm gonna see if I can't find something like that. But yeah, Sam, I also wanted to. There is a simpler version of the politics of this game that I think made Daltrey more of a capital B bad guy, and
I
do want to say I at once think it is genuinely interesting and valuable to have him go, man, this is messed up. This country's having me do messed up stuff. I really don't know about this. And I think it would have been stronger had we known a little bit more about like his internal struggles, or like his thoughts on like just him kind of reflecting on the injustices of Vendreka.
Because he's so affable throughout all of it, and like, you know, when we saw him, it was like, no, the way that you're laughing in my face when you're just kind of like, I'm about to arrest you, is like, this is Damon Gant coded. Like, there is no way that somebody's like, haha, I'm just joking about arresting you. Haha, I'll let you investigate a crime scene. Man, if Martin was there, Martin chose to not involve himself in the crime scene investigation. It was just Emma and Rafter, but the potential for evidence tampering on his part was so fucking high. Daltrey is lucky. Daltrey is so lucky. I'd be surprised if he wasn't fired on the other side of this. What do you mean you let people directly involved in the case at hand explore the crime scene?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot about him early on that kind of gives the impression that this guy is not entirely on the level, and it is. I think a more generous conclusion than can reasonably be offered is that is because or related to the fact that he is going to offer a more critical look at the country's justice system. I don't think that's why. I think these two things are just kind of separate.
Yes. It's the I want a character that fills a Dick Gumshoe level of like, oh, I'm a goofy old man detective guy, because this is an archetype that I find beloved in the surrounding media and want to kind of have a version of it in this. What if we made a hot older man detective who was like witty and involved himself in, but he was not necessarily perfect, and we put that in. But then it's the fact that it was just genuinely this decision for him to be an actual like police detective rather than private, and that changes the tone of a crime solver so fucking much because of what you do with the information you find. To catch up with chat a little bit, Soup mentions kind of like, oh, I was more interested in drinks than the waifus. Also true. I agree with you. I mean,
I wanted to drink with them all.
Having the advertising in that game be kind of like play our game, we have women with large tits in it, is like, sure, I understand why you would want to do this. There is a huge market for that, especially with some of the way that some of the other humor in that game would parallel to. But really, it was, yeah, the nature of the world I found more interesting. There is actually Fangamer has an official book with a bunch of real world equivalencies for the cocktails in it. Apparently some of the ingredients that they ask you to acquire are somewhat American, like you need some specific American sodas for some of the bits and pieces in there. And there's a bit of a debate about how good some of them taste, but that's also true to the game itself, so maybe that's fine. Yeah. I guess I'm glad to see a modern indie game exist that has echoed some of the things about mystery games from the like Sega Saturn, PC 98, and specifically DS era coalesced into a modern game. I think that is really cool, and I'm glad that this game exists for that. I guess in a parallel universe, it would have gone harder in the paint about the geopolitics that are involving the circumstances at hand. You can't tell me that like Martin was a political firebrand and then not see any of it. How dare?
Yeah.
How dare you? How does Martin feel about being a political firebrand and then one of his best friends going into politics and then not talking to him for a very extended period of time? I think if I had a friend that went into politics, I would keep a really close eye on what they were doing, like in the news, right?
Yeah, and probably be trying to talk to them a good amount. I mean, this was like 80s, 90s, so I understand not just being able to be like
sending an email. And he didn't subvert the cops. True. He was like, we're going to do this by the book. Interesting.
Yeah. I think this game has more sophisticated thoughts on its genre than on its topic matter. And that's not to say that I think it handled its topic matter poorly, but I think the fact that we are having this discussion that has largely been centering around the kind of when you think about the morality at play, it gets kind of scary or bleak.
I mean, and that's by its own choice. Because to talk about the political firebrand Monk Toast, yes. you mean he posts on Tumblr? I see. I understand. If we're talking about the kind of like the mystery side of things, it did make the choice to make the mystery solving linear, which I think is okay. I was talking to you off air, Rafi, about the potential of playing Snatcher on air, or at least giving it like a one session try. To let you know a couple of, we can go into some finer details like content warnings and bits and pieces involved, but that is also a linear solved game. You can't really fuck up the mystery in it. There are game overs though, but they are largely action related. You can't fail to solve the mystery directly. And so that, as a decision for a linear mystery game, I think is fine. I think the interesting thing to talk about in terms of the mystery in this is that the reason why any of the mystery happened is actively turned on its head in the third act. And then we realize that what we have been doing has actually been endangering the person that we care about and making it easier for her to be caught is an interesting twist, because it says quite early on, we're framed quite early on as we're just English majors, we're not detectives, we've maybe read a mystery novel, but fuck, we just thought it was interesting to be involved in any of this. And yeah, if you try and be like a fucking true crime girly, oh, I could solve the case, I have no training in psychology and forensics or even in legal crime procedure, but I could do it. This is what fucking happens, I guess. But yeah, that I thought was quite interesting.
At the end, but they concluded at the end, it's good we did this. Okay, maybe this is something that maybe I got my wires crossed on. In the ending justification for like, no, it's good that we did this, was like, we saved a woman's life. Whose life did we save? Because that sounds like, how did we save her life?
So if Emma did not go and speak to Ulma, Ulma would have just thrown herself off the back of the train. That's why she was in the end. That was why she was in the end car. She mentioned that
I see.
I was preparing to just fall off the back of the train and die, and then Emma came and said hello to me, and that's what gave me drive to actually keep going, because she was going to martyr herself as well as a confirmed murderer. So it's all the way down. Sam says, I think my ultimate read on this game is that it's super pretty, a fun throwback style, and the writing is often good but falls short in a way, maybe because it feels like it's trying to be YA friendly and thus sands the edges of some sticky topics. I agree. I think if it went hard in the paint on some things, it really could twist some knives, both emotionally for the characters involved and kind of talking about the world state now, even though this game is written to be set in the 80s. But I can understand why it didn't go that spicy. Yeah.
It gave itself a lot of ammunition to say some interesting things, and I don't think it knew quite where to take aim with that ammunition. I do, totally agree that it's very pretty. The style, the like different ways it, like the different throwback elements to the style, where it's like the UI is a throwback to, like, Famicom Detective Club, the pre-run. We've talked about all that plenty, So I agree with that. God, there's something I was gonna say, but fell through the cracks.
Well, you're having a think about it, Sam highlighting that. That being said, Golf Husbands were phenomenal, including the Easter egg minigame was inspired. The fact that it still worked within the nature of the UI without changing the UI at all, actually quite clever. But yes, I also love the Golf Husbands.
I want to give the game a couple flowers for the fact that our two protagonists, like, you can speculate, but it is very fair to interpret that they end the game as really good friends who had been through something hard. There is, like, if you'll forgive the term, it would have been really easy for this game to be like, and here's the breeding pair. And having, in the second session we played, it was kind of like, ooh, okay, she's throwing some like, ooh, signals, and coincidentally also kind of feeling like her IQ points are leaking out of her ear. Baloney as those things are. IQ points, not ears. And it felt like it recovered from that,
yes.
And I'm happy with where it ended, and I guess I am. It feels, I guess the Somnium Files Well, I don't remember. It's been. It does feel like a lot of the times, you know, if you're going to have the plucky girl sidekick with the with boy protag, there's going to be romance in there, and
It really did want to echo the Mia Fey like situation, because that's one, and I think that's one of those things where it was breathing close to like a mirror rather than an inspired by, to go back to the theming we were talking about previously. And to do a Maya Fey, unfortunately you have to Maya Fey's like whole thing is that she's a goofball but earnest, and it works for Maya Fey because she's very smart about a very specific thing, but otherwise her background and the way that she was grown up, the way that she grew up, isn't really framed in being kind of like academic or even necessarily careful. So she's just who she is. And it's quite interesting when in Phoenix Wright games we have other assistants, because the way that they are written, when written well, does a good job of making them feel directly different. I really like oh no, it's been a while, I can't remember her name. Science Girl, Emma Skye.
Ah, yes.
Emma Skye, when she's 15, goofball, although she's relatively earnest in mind. But then as you see her in subsequent games where she actually genuinely became a forensic detective and is quite good at her job, and that really changes how she acts as somebody trying to help solve cases alongside you. And I'm like, yeah, it's not just every female lead we have has to be an airhead comedic relief. And for the most part, Emma manages to not be there for comedic relief. She just has slightly silly moments, which maybe gel poorly in the moments. Hey, we've broken into somebody's room. It'd be really funny if you tried on that hat, though. No, Emma.
Ooh, truly, perhaps we should all be allowed bimbo moments as a treat. Oh, man. What else to say about this game? What do you think about the pacing of this game?
I don't think it overstays its welcome, actually. I think the fact that it was kind of like the train ride is 3 days was actually a really good limiter on how long the game could feasibly run. Like, you could obviously put more twists and turns in there, and then you just make the days feel longer. The fact that we saw that the time go by externally as as the day progressed was also good. And I don't think it overstood its welcome in terms of runtime. It's actually quite short compared to a lot of mystery games. Note that the fact that we're reading the entire thing aloud doubles the runtime. So we finished at about 10 hours in total, when you could probably finish it in 5 or 6. Yeah, I was okay with the pacing. How about you?
Yeah, I think I would broadly agree. I think my only quibble with the pacing is the I guess it did feel like there's a little bit of a lull in the lead up to the kind of the fracas of the end. And when the ending hit, I mean, it's who hasn't played a mystery game that in the end is going to be like, okay, time to reveal what happened, dump dump all cargo. And I don't think it was too bad in this one, but I definitely did need to double check with you for a recap on
the big explanation that Martin gave.
The fact that the big explanation is also like an unemotional climax point, at the very least a major emotional beat. Yeah, it was that was a lot of information to digest. I part of that I think is, and this is kind of getting outside of pacing things, but I think I appreciate the fact that This game has me more appreciate the fact that Ace Attorney character names are almost entirely joke names.
Yes.
Because it makes it really easy to remember who, like, I read a name and I know, yes, I know who Dyed Man is. I read Otto Keller and I'm like, fuck, which Genbriken was he? Like, which of the 3 or 4 people wrapped up in this political plot was he? And part of this is just due to my own, like, how I remember words.
Sure.
Like, several of their names look similar in my head, but
no, it's a thing. I will watch a movie and thoroughly enjoy the movie, and then be like, sports guy.
Oh yeah,
I've had the name said to me a handful of times. Maybe while action is going on or there's a soundtrack underneath it distracting me, so I don't actually retain the information of the name. But yeah, it is a lot harder to kind of keep names in check when they are all quite mundane, even though that makes things feel a lot more believable. This is true. An interesting balance that you kind of have to make with games in general, really. I think this game would be... I wouldn't want everybody to have joke names in this.
No, but I
yeah.
do think making the names more. It's a shame because I want to at once say I think the names should have been more distinct from each other, but also I recognize that they were trying to go for like, I get the impression they were trying to go for like, so people from Genbrika have names like this. People from Vendraka have names that are very similar because they used to be from the same country. And it's like, this does make sense. But I guess, like Mr. Fisher is, I wasn't getting him confused with anyone. It did, and actually having Emma and Alma be the 2 most important female characters is hard. That only really occurred to me at the end, so I guess, props to them for not really running into a lot of scenarios where you'd be confusing the 2. But
the point that we learned Alma's name, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
But yes, no, I get what you mean, for sure.
I would, so as a practical tip for what would help me in terms of discriminating characters, if you're going to have, especially if you're going to have characters who are like, these characters were all part of a thing that they did together, varying not just what letter do their names start with, but also how many syllables are in their names, what is the stress pattern of their name, can we get any nicknames for them that
help them set apart, for sure. I ran into this shit all the time with like scenario writing and things, being like, okay, there are too many characters whose name begin with S. I'm gonna fuck it up for myself, let alone them. Yeah.
Like,
no, I get you.
I remember words in a very much about visually how they look, and also about their stress pattern. It is like, I used to have a thing about getting fucking Mel Gibson and I wish Sam was still here because she'd remember who the other one is. Who is the guy who was an actor who was canceled like a decade before canceling was a thing for being super anti-Semitic?
Oh my god.
Ben something? Anyway.
What, like Ben Stiller? Is he? Was that?
I don't think it was Ben Stiller, but anyway, point being, the only reason I don't confuse those 2 people anymore is because one of them fell off the face of the fucking earth because he got real weird about Jewish people.
I see. Anyway. And then it was like easy to make the distinction after that point. Yes.
But other than that, anyway, not to belabor the point.
No, I get you. I guess because we should probably pass the love on to somebody else and wind down for today. Thank you very much for getting this for me, because it's something I put on my wish list as like a game I wanted to play, but I'm so glad that we got to enjoy it together as well.
Yes, I thoroughly agree. This was, I'm very pleased that a birthday present to you was able to turn into something pretty, like, I think this was very fun to have our first Cold Cases game that we play the whole way through on multiple sessions.
Yes, very much so. We have discerning tastes, you understand. We're very picky.
Very.
Speaking of picky, well, we've been having a chat, been thinking about who to go and pass the love on to in terms of rating. Piff, who is actually part of the Stabbiness kind of like larger collective of performers. That channel has been doing something called TTRP Gachapon recently, which is basically just a bunch of one-shots of very small indie games. And I got to play Mole Kids with Piff a couple weeks ago, where we are all just like the TV show 16, the tabletop RPG. And it was a delight. I'd seen Piff do like just casual video game streams for like years, but never had the chance to like speak to him directly before that particular opportunity. So it's like, oh yeah, no, I've known you for ages. It's nice to actually play a game with you and we can understand each other in a different way. Fuck yeah. So currently Piff is playing Rabbit and Steel, which is like the bullet hell Final Fantasy 14 boss simulator with music from the One Step from Eden people, which is what a combination. So I'm gonna go and start a raid for that, and we're gonna go and tell them hello on the other side. In terms of what's happening with us next week, fucking hell, we'll discuss it off air and surprise you, I guess. I've been your androgynous android late night DJ caster.
I have been your amazing agender avian co-host, Ravi the Owl.
There isn't a raid message because I'm not a streamer like that. Just say hello and follow them, I guess. This has been the New Caster Twitch channel, and we'll see you next Thursday. Have a good one, everybody. Peace out.
Bye-bye.